Wang Yu worked as a security guard at Shanghai City's most exclusive villa compound. 3 years had passed in this role. Today was just like any other day, standing post, opening gates, saluting, forcing smiles. Watching all manner of luxury vehicles drive in and out, the wealthy residents never spared him a glance. Occasionally, someone would cast a scornful look his way. Sometimes misbehaving children would point at him and shout, "If you don't study hard, you'll end up a useless gatekeeper just like him." In moments like these, Wang Yu could only offer an awkward smile. If the resident demanded acknowledgement, he had to nod and agree. He dared not resist. For one thing, no other job paid as well. For another, provoking these rich people could lead to dire consequences. Wang Yu noticed mist rolling in and felt confused. It's only 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Where's fog coming from? The fog thickened rapidly, turning pitch black. Visibility shrank from hundreds of meters down to dozens, then just a few meters. Pedestrians on the road began rushing home in panic. The commotion put Wang Yu on edge. Boom! A violent car crash echoed in the distance. Wang Yu jolted in shock. That crash seemed to unlock a Pandora's box. Collisions, flames and explosions erupted from every direction. The black fog had cut drivers' sight short, triggering a chain of traffic accidents. Screams and cries for help mingled with the noise. The peaceful atmosphere warped into something eerie. A mere blink later, Wang Yu could barely see anything beyond 1 meter away. Everything further out was swallowed. What on earth is this? Is it the end of the world? Panic surged through him. He hurried into the security booth behind him and reached to lock the door. Wait! A pale hand pressed against the door. Wang Yu's breath caught. He half expected a zombie from novels to burst in. Upon closer look, the figure outside was no monster. It was Su Wan, who lived in Star Court. From gossip shared by coworkers, Wang Yu knew she was a wealthy patron's kept companion. She was blessed with stunning looks and an outstanding figure. She wore black tights today, looking exceptionally striking. Move aside. She shoved the door open, stepped inside and glared at Wang Yu. How dare you block the door, guard? Do you want to die? I didn't know you were trying to get in. Wang Yu thought silently. He knew Su Wan had a notoriously bad temper. If she filed a complaint, he would lose 1,000 yuan from his salary. You security guards always wear such dreary, lifeless expressions. Su Wan stared at him with disgust as she pulled out her phone. This fog is terrible. It's going to make me late for my beauty appointment. Wang Yu retreated to the corner and pulled out his phone. Online, he saw news that the black fog had enveloped the entire globe. Some people cheered wildly, shouting that spiritual energy had returned, that they would cultivate into immortals. Others posted ridiculous jokes online, claiming the fog was residual power leaking as they sealed fiends from outer realms. There was even a post claiming to be Qin Shi Huang resurrected, promising noble titles to anyone who sent him money. Yet other users wrote that they had spotted monsters within the fog, creatures that hunted humans. Most people dismissed these posts, writing them off as unnecessary panic. They believed the fog was a rare phenomenon. Trust in authorities remained firm. As a long-time web novel reader, Wang Yu sensed the monster sightings might be genuine. I'd rather face zombies, he muttered anxiously. At least you can see zombies. Right now, you can't see anything out there. He ran a hand nervously through his hair. A mechanical voice suddenly echoed inside his head. The black fog descends. The end of the world arrives. The Chosen One awakens. You have bound the destiny system. Host may draw 1 card each day to receive a random reward from 3 categories: physical enhancement, skills, or equipment. Card draws reset at midnight. A deck of cards materialized before him. Each white card edged with gold bore the image of a lifelike dragon head. An invisible aura of majesty emanated from them, stirring an urge to bow. A golden finger. Excitement flooded Wang Yu. After 3 years of swallowing humiliation, he finally had an extraordinary power. He laughed for several minutes before calming down and gazing at the floating deck, wondering what he would draw. How do I draw a card? Wang Yu asked in his mind. The system replied, simply tap the deck. Got it. Wang Yu tapped the deck. It shook violently, fanning out 3 cards for him to choose. Luck alone would decide his reward. He skipped all the silly superstitions and flipped open the middle card. Enhancement reward, Evolution Tier 1. The card shattered into golden light that surged into his body. A jolt ran through him. He felt robust and powerful, as if he could knock out an ox with 1 punch. It was an overstatement, but he could clearly feel he was many times stronger than before. The system spoke again. Human tiers range from 1 to 10. Higher tiers boost all bodily faculties. Currently, you can snap a bundle of chopsticks and bend an iron bar with your bare hands. Wang Yu's eyes lit up. Strength would be his greatest survival asset in the apocalypse. He had always been slightly stronger than average civilians, yet nowhere near trained soldiers. He landed the security job mainly thanks to his tall frame, neat appearance, and willingness to endure hardship. Those advantages meant nothing once civilization collapsed. Evolving to Tier 1 at this critical moment was exactly what he needed. Noticing the card deck had not vanished, Wang Yu asked the system, "How do I hide this interface?" System replied, "The deck disappears once your daily draw is used. It remains visible now because the system granted an extra free draw. You may draw again." Joy washed over Wang Yu. Another chance to draw. He wasted no time, drawing and flipping another card. Skill reward. 1 deluxe self-heating hot pot spawns every second. Wang Yu thrilled at the reward. Like the physical enhancement, this skill was incredibly practical. Humans cannot survive more than a week without food. Monsters roamed within the black fog. Venturing outside to scavenge meant taking massive risks. With this skill, he would never go hungry. As for water, he had no immediate worries. 2 large water jugs sat in the security booth, plus a half-full barrel on the water dispenser, enough to last him 1 or 2 weeks. Still, he frowned. A hot pot spawns every second. Where will I store all of them? The system answered promptly. Spawned hot pots are stored inside system space. You may retrieve them whenever you wish. Perfect. Wang Yu silently praised the comprehensive system. Hey you. An impolite voice dragged him out of his thoughts, ruining his good mood. He turned to see Su-Wan holding her chin high. From rumors, he knew Su-Wan came from an ordinary family. After attracting a wealthy patron, she grew arrogant and often spoke harshly to service staff. Last month, a cleaning lady was fired on her complaint simply because Su-Wan caught a whiff of sweat. You're staring. Do you want trouble? Su-Wan folded her arms and sneered. I'll let it slide for now. I remember a police station not far from here. I've been calling, but no one picks up. Run over there and ask what this fog is and when it will lift. Don't make me miss my beauty appointment. Haven't you read what people are posting online? Wang Yu frowned. There might be monsters in the fog. You want me to run out there to die? Whether you live or die means nothing to me. Su-Wan replied coldly. If you refuse, I'll file a complaint. She knew exactly where to strike. You wouldn't want to lose this decent security job, would you? Are you out of your mind? Wang Yu retorted sarcastically. The world is ending. Why would I care about a job anymore? Who are you calling out of your mind? Su-Wan's eyes widened in anger. In the past, all staff at Star Court catered to her every whim. She could not believe Wang Yu dared defy her. You. Wang Yu grabbed her arm and pushed open the door. Keep your sharp words to yourself. File all the complaints you want. If you live long enough to do it. You're hurting me. Let go. Su-Wan struggled. Once he released her, she found herself standing outside. Open the door. She banged against the booth. Guard. I order you to open up. Su-Wan threw a furious tantrum until exhaustion set in. The man who once obeyed every word now ignored her completely. Did he win the lottery? Has he stopped caring about tomorrow? She gasped, confused. What gives him the nerve to act like this? As she calmed, ominous noises echoing in the fog made fear creep over her. She thought back to Wang Yu's warning about monsters. Unease twisted in her chest. The unknown black fog blocked all sight, leaving her unable to see anything beyond herself. Humans feared the unknown and darkness, and she faced both. She leaned shakily against the booth door, overcome by helplessness. She desperately needed help, yet her pride stopped her. From begging the security guard for shelter, inside the booth, Wang Yu felt a weight lift after standing up to Su-Wan, releasing years of pent-up frustration from his 3 years as a guard. He drank a bottle of water to steady himself. Ding! His phone chimed suddenly. Wang Yu quickly muted it and checked the screen. It was a property group notification tagging everyone. Property manager Li Kun, a potted succulent in the office, mutated. Wang Cece mutated? Stop spreading weird rumors right now. Li Kun, I saw it with my own eyes. That mutated succulent ate manager Chun. Blood splattered all over me. Housekeeper Zhang Hao at everyone. Resident in Villa C3 reports strange noises at home. Anyone willing to check? The resident offers a 50,000 yuan reward. Zhang Yan, are you crazy? No one dares go out in this fog. Cleaner Wang Fu, I'll go. Wang Yu sighed. Wang Fu's wife was hospitalized, piling up massive medical bills. Only desperation could push him to risk his life for 50,000 yuan. Li Kun's message confirmed the online rumors. Monsters lurked within the black fog. Wang Yu planned to shelter in the security booth for several days, relying on daily card draws. There was no reason to venture out. He had food, water, and air conditioning here. He had never seen these monsters and knew nothing about their strength. Rushing outside carried enormous risks. One wrong move could cost him everything. Help me. Somebody help. Wang Yu heard urgent cries outside. He peered through the window and spotted a man with only his upper body left dragging himself forward through the fog. Flesh fell away as he crawled, leaving a bloody trail behind him. Suwon caught sight of the bloodied man with bloodshot eyes creeping toward her. Open the door. She screamed and hammered against the booth. I apologize. Please let me inside. Wang Yu gagged at the grotesque sight and threw up into the trash bin. The scene was far too horrifying. He heard Suwon begging, yet he refused. Though she was beautiful, his own survival mattered more. He could not tell if the crawling figure was human or some monster. Suwon squeezed her eyes shut, too terrified to scream. After a long moment, nothing harmful happened. She carefully opened her eyes, only to spot the man lying motionless right at her feet. Terror buckled her knees. Wang Yu drank water to settle. Before looking out the window again, the man appeared lifeless. He did not seem to be a monster, likely torn apart or run over by a vehicle, clinging to life on pure adrenaline. No doctor alive could save him now. It proves I made the right choice staying inside, Wang Yu muttered, glancing towards Suwon. She sat collapsed on the ground. Even from his vantage point, he could see how shaken she was. Suwon gradually regained her senses. She realized she was far less brave than she thought. Her pride had nearly killed her. I'm sorry, she broke down crying. Please let me in. You're not apologizing because you mean it, Wang Yu sneered from inside the booth. You're apologizing because you're scared. You're right, Suwon sobbed. I'm terrified of death. If you open the door, I'll give you anything you want, money, possessions, whatever you ask for. In just a few minutes, Suwon transformed. From an arrogant woman into a helpless victim, Wang Yu could not deny his attraction to her. Beyond that, having her nearby meant she could act as a buffer if danger approached. Be my partner, Wang Yu said plainly. What? Suwon stared at him as if she had heard absurd nonsense. You want me to be your partner just for letting me into this booth? How can you even say that? Do you know how much Xiao Xiong spent pursuing me? At least 5 million yuan, not counting everything else he bought for me afterward. Suwon let out a bitter laugh. She could not believe a security guard thought she could be won over so easily. Then stay outside, Wang Yu said indifferently. Or go find your Xiao Xiong. His words drained Suwon's defiance. She could not bear another second exposed to the fog, and she dared not move anywhere else. The black mist blocked all sight. A distant woman's scream cut through the fog, shattering the last of her pride. Fine, fine, she rushed to agree. I'll be your partner. Wang Yu unlocked the door. Suwon scrambled inside in a state of disarray. She leaned against the wall, gasping for breath, her hair matted with sweat. Wang Yu closed the door and lit a cigarette. It would take her time to recover after witnessing the gruesome sight. A heavy silence settled over the security booth. Unsettling noises continued echoing from outside. Suwon broke the quiet by retching into the trash bin, the memory of the injured man overwhelming her again. Wang Yu frowned. He was glad he had emptied his stomach earlier. Otherwise, the sight of her vomiting would have made him sick all over again. By 8 o'clock in the evening, noises outside died down. Now that he had grown accustomed to the atmosphere, hunger gnawed at Wang Yu's stomach. He retrieved a deluxe self-heating hot pot from System Space. The container was nearly as large as a regular hot pot cauldron. He could adjust the flavor freely. Skipping spicy broth after vomiting, he prepared a bone soup base. The heating pack brought the broth to a gentle simmer, filling the booth with aroma. The ingredients were abundant. Beef rolls, lamb rolls, luncheon meat, mixed vegetables, meatballs, and braised chicken feet. A meal of this standard would cost 1 or 200 yuan. Suwon caught the scent and stared in shock. She had not seen where Wang Yu pulled such a large pot from. The aroma made her mouth water. She had thrown up all her food. Sharp hunger pains twisted her stomach. I want some too. She walked over behind him, gazing at the steaming pot. You speak harshly and offer nothing, yet expect food just by asking? Wang Yu glanced sideways at her. Am I obligated to feed you? Suwon understood what he wanted. She had already agreed to stay with him, so she leaned forward. She brushed her lips lightly against his cheek and whispered beside his ear, Let me have some, please. A shiver ran through Wang Yu. As someone with little experience with women, facing someone as stunning as Suwon stirred his heart deeply. Wang Yu did not let his excitement show on his face. Simply put, a man has his pride. There's a folding camp stool over there. Go grab it and sit down, Wang Yu said calmly. Then he let out a sarcastic remark. Speaking of which, you've got such a bad temper. And you don't know how to handle people. I wonder how that wealthy patron supporting you puts up with you. Xiao Xiong might not come even once a year. Suwon fetched the stool, sat beside Wang Yu, and picked up a set of disposable tableware. He rarely gets the chance to deal with me. He doesn't visit? Wang Yu looked surprised. Then what is he after from you? He struggles in that regard. He pushed himself relentlessly in his younger years, and years of drinking and staying up late ruined his health, Suwon explained. I suspect he stays away because seeing me reminds him of his own shortcomings, and it frustrates him. At first, he came 2 or 3 times every week. Later, it dropped to once a month. Eventually, he installed surveillance cameras at my place and hired people to watch over me. Yet he himself barely showed up all year round. It felt as if he treated me like one of his collectibles. Wang Yu understood now. Suwon was living no differently from someone imprisoned. No wonder she had such a volatile temper. Still, Xiao Xiong's condition indirectly meant Suwon was likely untouched, which meant Wang Yu had gotten quite a lucky break. Stick with me properly, Wang Yu said as he dipped slices of beef into the dipping sauce. Don't stir up trouble. I can guarantee you'll have food to eat. All right, Suwon agreed with a smile. Yet resentment lingered in her heart. She once lived in a villa and drove luxury cars. Even if all of it came from Xiao Xiong, those things were hers to enjoy. She herself was no ordinary person. Leaving aside her natural good looks and figure, she was a graduate from a prestigious university. On paper, she was far above Wang Yu, a mere security guard. Now, just because she'd sought temporary shelter in the security booth, she had to rely on Wang Yu. It made her feel diminished, and she could not help but feel bitter. Wang Yu paid no mind to Suwon's inner thoughts. As long as she stayed obedient, everything was fine. If she caused trouble, he would send her out of the booth. If he grew strong enough, he would never lack companions in this end times. Once they finished eating, the constant threat of monsters hanging over them left him with no leisure for anything else. He stayed vigilant all through the night, afraid of drawing the attention of creatures lurking in the black mist. Midnight finally arrived. His gacha pulls had reset. It was time to draw. Skill reward, Special Forces Soldier. The card Wang Yu drew shattered into streaks of golden light that surged into his body. Countless scenes flashed rapidly before his eyes. It was as if he had personally lived the life of a 10-year veteran soldier. From enlistment and grueling training, to elite selection, mastering combat techniques, blade work, firearms, reconnaissance, and more, all the expertise of a Special Forces operator. This was far more than just watching memories unfold. He truly inherited the Special Forces operative's mindset and all associated skills. When he saw videos covering firearms and military knowledge from now on, he would understand everything instantly, no longer confused as he once was. This skill is incredible. Wang Yu's face lit up with delight. Level 1 human combined with the Special Forces soldier skill. This pairing was definitely far stronger than the sum of its parts. Suwon watched Wang Yu, overcome with confusion. Earlier that day, he had seemed completely ordinary, just an average man. But in the blink of an eye, he carried himself with a harder, taller aura. Did he undergo a profound inner transformation after encountering the black mist? Suwon recalled hearing people say that hardships forge boys into men. Wang Yu must have experienced exactly that. Earlier, he had to rely on intimidation to pressure her, yet now a subtle aura of authority radiated naturally from him. Strangely enough, that imposing aura brought a sense of security to her. He's actually quite reliable, Suwon thought. Like a stray cat taken in, she began to quietly grow reliant on Wang Yu. The rest of the night passed without further incident. Haunted by fear of monsters, neither of them slept well. They jolted awake every time they managed to drift off. Wang Yu worked roughly 10 night shifts each month. He kept coffee, snacks, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and towels inside the security booth. He washed up with purified water, then poured hot water from the water dispenser to brew 2 packets of instant coffee, pairing it with small bread rolls for breakfast. Outside, the black mist had lingered through the night. Most of the residential area stayed quiet, though occasional shrill screams echoed from time to time. He ate his breakfast at a leisurely pace. A quiet loneliness washed over him. Thankfully, the black mist only blocked visibility. Power and internet remained intact. Wang Yu could scroll on his phone to pass the time, easing the boredom. He opened the property group chat flooded with unread messages, as well as food delivery discount groups. Every message was saturated with depression and anxiety. Nothing but negative energy here. Finding no useful information, Wang Yu opened a Match 3 mobile game to play. Suwon was also browsing her phone. Starcourt Estate was split into Zone A, B, and C. Housing in Zone A carried the highest price tag, with villas bearing auspicious or sequential numbers costing even more. Her villa was marked C5. She belonged to the Zone C homeowners group chat. C88. Through my connections, I've learned the entire nation is in chaos. Local armed forces are immobilized by this fog and cannot move freely. We cannot count on outside rescue arriving anytime soon. C66. An old friend of mine serves in the Jianghai war zone. He told me plainly that even the military's most advanced surveillance equipment cannot penetrate the black mist. He advised me to ration food and never step outside lightly. C-15. I barely have supplies left at home, and I have no idea if the tap water is contaminated. I've been worrying all night. C-30. I've negotiated multi-billion yuan business deals, yet I've never felt as tense as these past 2 days. C-28 at C-30 come over to my house quickly and help me. A woman with a torn open mouth bit my wife's head clean off. The moment C-28's message appeared, the group fell silent. No one dared reply. Nobody wanted to be seen as a potential source of help others would cling to desperately, and everyone shuddered at the grim fate described. No one could guarantee the same monster would not break into their own residence next. Everyone is in such dire straits. Suwon frowned as she continued scrolling through other neighborhood groups, social media platforms, and short video sites. Every source of information painted a bleak picture. Compared to most people, we're actually far better off. Suwon glanced at Wang Yu and mused. At the very least, he can play games calmly. And I still got to enjoy a hot pot meal yesterday. Time passed without disturbance. Wang Yu remained relaxed, and noon arrived before he knew it. Hunger struck, and he prepared lunch. Suwon watched as he hauled another deluxe self-heating hot pot out of nowhere, staring at him suspiciously. Was he some sort of hamster? Had he come to work or to live in comfort? How could he store so many large hot pot containers inside the security booth? Where exactly did he hide all these supplies? There did not seem to be enough storage space in the small booth. Curiosity gnawed at Suwon. She resolved to watch Wang Yu closely around dinner time later that night. Are you here to live the easy life? Wang Yu had just torn open the packaging of the self-heating hot pot when he sensed her gaze and turned around. Sitting there with your legs crossed waiting to be served? Get over here and unpack this. Prepare the hot pot for me. I don't know how. Suwon looked at him innocently. I've never done chores like this before. Then learn. Wang Yu stood up and lit a cigarette. I'm not your father. I'm not obligated to wait on you hand and foot. Suwon looked over the instructions on the package with a dejected expression, then spoke to Wang Yu. Smoking indoors isn't good. You can head outside if you don't like it. Wang Yu took a deep drag on his cigarette on purpose and exhaled the smoke. Cough, cough. Suwon choked on the fumes. She had no intention of stepping outside into the dangerous mist, so she quickly backed down. I'm sorry, go ahead and smoke. Smoke as much as you want. I've been too nice to you, letting you get bold enough to tell me what to do. Wang Yu narrowed his eyes. I'm used to speaking my mind to others. I won't do it again. Suwon held back her complaints and began opening the hot pot packaging. Crunching sounds suddenly reached Wang Yu's ears. What are you eating? He frowned. Are you sneaking food? Suwon turned to face him with a blank expression. I'm not eating anything. Then where's that chewing noise coming from? Wang Yu saw no food in Suwon's mouth, yet the sound continued. His expression darkened instantly. Something was wrong. Wang Yu sprinted to the window and spotted a long-haired woman hunched over, voraciously tearing into a half-human corpse. The long-haired woman sensed his gaze and lifted her head. A bloody mouth stretched in a jagged line all the way to her ears, revealing rows of blood-soaked sharp fangs. It looked as though it was smiling at Wang Yu. Its eyes glinted with excitement, as if it had discovered a delicious meal. The horrifying sight sent a chill down Wang Yu's spine, and he instinctively stepped backward. What frightened him most was how silently it had crept up to the security booth's entrance. If it had not been distracted feeding and making noise, they would never have noticed its presence. Cold sweat instantly soaked his back. Don't scare me. I can't handle frights. Suwon noticed Wang Yu's alarmed expression and nervously peered toward the window. All at once, the long-haired woman appeared directly outside the window. The sudden close-up of its menacing grin terrified Suwon so thoroughly, she collapsed onto the floor. Fear clamped down on her throat, robbing her of the ability to scream. Gulp! The long-haired woman swallowed the flesh in its jaws. For some unknown reason, it stared at Wang Yu for several seconds before turning away. It dragged the unfinished half-corpse and vanished into the black mist. Damn it, Wang Yu swallowed hard. It's just like the slit-mouthed woman from urban legends. Recalling the creature's gaze, Wang Yu suspected he had been marked as a future meal. It had chosen not to attack now, but it might strike at any moment later. If he left this threat unaddressed, he would live in constant fear of a sudden ambush, stuck in a perpetual state of unease. It would be far better to take the initiative and eliminate the danger. If he could not win, he would run. If escape was impossible, he would use Suwon as a distraction. Influenced by his new Special Forces instincts, Wang Yu thought quickly and decisively. Having settled on his fallback plan, he grabbed the riot shield and rubber baton beside him. Suwon saw Wang Yu ready to rush outside and trembled. What are you planning to do? Hunt it down. Wang Yu pushed open the door and stepped outside. Suwon stared in shock. He was insane. Everyone else would hide and flee from monsters. Yet Wang Yu chose to go out and confront one voluntarily. The outside world was full of unknown threats, and the black mist limited visibility to barely 1 meter. Wang Yu did not act recklessly. He stayed close to the security booth rather than charging deep into the fog. He stood in the open space next to the booth, shield in one hand, baton in the other. Come out here and face me. He struck the gate barrier with the rubber baton to create noise and shouted. You had the nerve to sneak up and scare me. Do you not have the courage to come out and finish me off? Are you nothing but a coward? Wang Yu scanned his surroundings constantly, sweat dripping down his face. The thick, shifting black mist was deeply troublesome, acting as perfect cover for monsters. If one burst out of the fog, it would appear directly up close. Anyone slow to react would meet a terrible end. Facing the unknown, he naturally felt uneasy. This was his first time confronting a monster head-on. Without the enhanced physique of a level 1 human and his special forces training, he would never have mustered the courage to actively seek out such a terrifying, unknown creature. Has it wandered off? Wang Yu waited for a while, hearing no further movement. He raised a hand to wipe sweat from his face. Right then, whoosh, the slit-mouthed woman burst out of the mist, appearing directly before Wang Yu. It opened its massive jaws and lunged for his neck. A bite landing there would rupture his carotid artery and kill him instantly. Thankfully, his level 1 human reflexes were sharp. Wang Yu raised the riot shield to block the creature's charge. A heavy bang echoed as the monster collided with the shield. He stood firmly without stumbling backward. He realized the slit-mouthed woman's strength was far from overwhelming. A spark of confidence lit up his eyes. You're not nearly as powerful as I imagined. All bark and no bite. Now that he had a clear measure of the threat, his anxiety faded away entirely. He pushed the creature backward with the shield, then pulled it away. Bang! He swung the rubber baton and smashed it hard against the monster's head. A blow to the human skull from this baton could prove fatal on its own. Wang Yu channeled his enhanced strength into this strike. The raging slit-mouthed woman froze instantly. Thick, murky black blood poured from the wound where the baton had connected, streaming down its face. Thud! The creature collapsed straight onto the ground. Wang Yu had killed it with a single blow. I overestimated its strength and underestimated my own abilities. To be safe, he struck the monster's head several more times. If it could survive this, it would truly be formidable. Ding! A mechanical system voice suddenly echoed in Wang Yu's ears, startling him so much he nearly struck the corpse again. He had briefly feared the monster was reviving. Host has eliminated your first monster, the system announced. Gotcha pull count +1. Wang Yu brightened with joy. That's a nice surprise. Defeating your first monster is only the beginning. Do not grow complacent or let your guard down. As you grow stronger and explore more of this world, you may unlock additional pull chances and new system functions. The system spoke solemnly. Both you and the system hold boundless potential. Understood. Wang Yu committed the warning to mind and wondered silently. Are monsters ranked from level 1 to level 10, much like living beings? How can I determine their levels? That is correct, the system replied. There exists a skill named True Sight among potential card rewards. It lets you view all creatures' levels, pierce the black mist, and offers many other functions. Similar skills and equipment also exist, far too many to list one by one here. Wang Yu immediately wanted to obtain True Sight. It sounded extremely useful. Until I get True Sight, I suppose I can only judge monster levels through direct contact, or build up experience by fighting more creatures, Wang Yu thought. For the time being, he had no intention of leaving the security booth. He would not foolishly assume all monsters were weak just because he defeated this one. This slit-mouthed woman was likely a common low-level monster, and its strength could not represent every other threat roaming the fog. Wang Yu shook his card deck. 3 cards to choose from. He counted silently and flipped open the card on the far right. Equipment reward, Tiny Bee. Mechanical construct, capable of sustained airborne flight. It possesses no attack power and serves primarily for reconnaissance. Wang Yu pulled an object identical to a real bee out of system storage, a satisfied smile tugging at his lips. This tiny bee arrived at exactly the right moment. It could connect to mobile phones, smart bands, and other electronic devices. Wang Yu planned to station it as a sentry around the security booth. It would send him an alert if danger approached. No longer would he and Suwon need to stay perpetually on edge, terrified of being attacked in their sleep. During the daytime, he could use the tiny bee like a miniature drone to scout the surrounding area. Excellent gear. Wang Yu directed the tiny bee toward the security booth. The mechanical insect flew over and latched onto the exterior wall. Its monitoring range covered 10 meters. He did not care to understand its operating principles. He only needed it to function reliably and provide him with vital warnings. He was no scientist, after all. There was no need to waste time dissecting how it worked. He pushed open the booth door and stepped back inside. Suwon saw him return and noticed blood staining his shield and baton. She instantly realized he had defeated the monster. Her previous terror and helplessness melted away, replaced by admiration. Wang Yu was incredible. He was so capable. Don't look at me like I'm some legend. Wang Yu smiled as he set down his shield and baton. Suwon rushed forward and embraced him. I was wrong. Suwon spoke from the bottom of her heart. I will never again think you are beneath me just because you work as a security guard. In these chaotic times filled with monsters, wealth means nothing. You are powerful and dependable. You are far more reliable than Xiao Xiong and all those millionaires and billionaires. If anyone is unworthy, it is me. It seems that monster didn't only frighten you. It made you see things clearly. Wang Yu smiled and hugged Suwon back. It was his first time embracing another person. Don't be upset with me. Suwon tilted her head up to look at him. I promise I will stay faithfully by your side from now on. To be honest, what you think doesn't weigh much to me, Wang Yu said plainly. He thought to himself that Suwon simply needed to be shown strength. Not long ago, she had been sharp-tongued and stubborn, yet now she was gentle and compliant. Even if you don't care about me, I'm not sure whether I should feel sad or relieved. A flicker of disappointment crossed Suwon's eyes. I just remembered something. The homeowner C28 in our group chat mentioned encountering a woman with a torn mouth breaking into his home. She bit his wife's head off. The monster he described must be the same one we just saw. It truly was terrifying when it suddenly appeared, Wang Yu said calmly. He could imagine how hopeless an ordinary person would be facing such a sudden ambush. The slit-mouthed monster was fast, fierce, and vicious. Suwon watched Wang Yu take the threat so lightly, drawn to his confidence. She leaned forward and kissed him. Wang Yu stiffened as if an electric shock ran through him. His eyes widened. Neither of them had experience with this, so the kiss was awkward. Suwon pulled away first, her cheeks flushing pink. I'm telling you the truth. Suwon looked at him earnestly. That was my first kiss. I believe you. Wang Yu maintained a calm exterior. I really am not lying. Seeing Wang Yu's lack of obvious reaction, Suwon swore an oath. May misfortune befall me if I deceive you. I don't care about that. Wang Yu shifted the conversation. Go prepare our food now. Are you hungry? Suwon brightened instantly. I'll get it ready quickly. She turned to finish preparing the self-heating hot pot. Wang Yu exhaled quietly once her back was turned. His heart was pounding wildly. Look at me, losing my composure like this. He wiped sweat from his forehead. Thankfully, I didn't embarrass myself. Shortly afterward, Suwon finished preparing the hot pot. She acted noticeably warmer toward Wang Yu, mixing dipping sauce and picking ingredients onto his plate without being asked. As he dined, he opened his phone to browse news streams. Suddenly, a trending headline popped up in his browser. Tsunami hits Sakura region. An unprecedented tsunami had swallowed an entire city. Most buildings had been reduced to floating rubble, with countless casualties. Wang Yu silently liked the news article. Cherry blossoms pollute the ocean. When doomsday arrives, the furious ocean will strike the cherry blossoms first without a doubt. Xia is protected by Mazu. The coastal areas should be safe. Wang Yu thought to himself as his phone buzzed with a message in the property group. Chen Dabiao, the security captain, at everyone. Wang Yu detested the man. He constantly hired his relatives and friends into the security team and always covered for them when they slacked off. They showed up late to shifts and even napped on duty. That left Wang Yu stuck doing work that was never supposed to be his. He had always swallowed his anger and dared not speak up. Someone had reported Chen Dabiao to management once. But Chen Dabiao and his cronies found out, ganged up to ostracize the whistleblower. They cut his wages until he could no longer bear it and forced him to quit. Captain Chen, these are extraordinary times. Everyone, bring your food and drinks and come to Unit C20 to report to me and follow my orders. If I find out anyone saw this message and fails to show up, there will be severe consequences. Wang Yu curled his lips. Chen Dabiao spoke with outrageous arrogance. It seemed there was no way to avoid going, but Wang Yu had no intention of complying. For one thing, he no longer feared retaliation from Chen Dabiao. More importantly, he possessed an extraordinary system. He was destined to reach towering heights and be admired by all. He would never lower himself to become someone's lackey. He had no plans to recruit followers at all. No one could keep pace with his rapid growth, so any followers would merely become burdens. What are you staring at so intently? Suwon picked up a piece of tender beef tendon and placed it on Wang Yu's plate. Nothing. Wang Yu switched the television back on and bit into the beef tendon. It was perfectly soft and full of flavor. Meanwhile, inside Unit C-20, Chun Dabiao had gathered 13 property staff and security guards, all crammed into the living room. It was dinner time. A housekeeper had cooked a huge pot of noodles, tossed with eggs and greens. The mixture looked unappetizing, resembling slop or vomit after a night of heavy drinking. Brother Biao, Chen Ji, one of Chun Dabiao's fellow townsmen, said glumly. Nowadays people order groceries and take out online. Wealthy families don't stock much food at home. All we manage to scavenge is rice. Just noodles and things like that. Chen Ji stirred the bland noodles in his bowl. There's barely any meat. We won't have the strength to work after eating this. The rich prefer fresh food. I doubt we'll find many supplies searching other apartments, Chen Dabiao mused. There's a convenience store outside Tianqing Court. We'll split into 2 groups. You take men to raid the convenience store. A malicious grin spread across Chun Dabiao's face. I'll lead a group to Unit C5 to find Su Wan, then head to Unit C88 to get Jiang Qing. We'll reconvene once you return. We'll settle things together. Sounds perfect. Chen Ji grinned right back. Like Chun Dabiao, he had long coveted Su Wan and Jiang Qing, the 2 most beautiful women in Tianqing Court. Still, worry lingered. Chen Ji frowned. What if the black fog lifts and officials from Xia show up? If we do this, we could face execution, right? If you're afraid, don't do it. If you do it, don't be afraid. A vicious look crossed Chun Dabiao's face. We'll get what we want first. If officials really come as you say, we'll kill the women beforehand and claim monsters were responsible. Chen Ji shuddered. Brother Biao was far crueler than he had imagined. Back with Wang Yu, he had finished a hearty meal. The deluxe self-heating hot pot was generously portioned, filling both him and Su Wan to the brim. They had eaten more meat than they could handle. Carb drowsiness washed over him, compounded by a sleepless night. He unfolded a single camp bed and lay down. You're actually going to sleep? Su Wan asked anxiously. If monsters attack again, you can't expect a weak woman like me to hold them off. Sleep soundly. Wang Yu yawned. Before I encountered that grinning monster, I could steal brief naps. Now I don't dare close my eyes. I'm terrified I'll open my eyes and see a gaping maw. Su Wan was genuinely frightened. Her voice trembled just mentioning the creatures. She had hoped to chat with Wang Yu, but after waiting for a reply, all she heard was his steady breathing. He had fallen asleep. You really fell asleep? Su Wan widened her beautiful eyes. Wang Yu, aren't you scared the monster will bite your head off? She nudged him gently. When he did not stir, she accepted he could truly rest amid such extreme tension. He seemed unaffected by pressure. Su Wan felt abandoned and uneasy. She drew her knees to her chest and sat beside his bed. Only being close to him brought her a sense of safety. The afternoon dragged by agonizingly for Su Wan, yet for Wang Yu, it was as calm and peaceful as any ordinary day. He slept until past 5 in the evening. Urination roused him. He opened his eyes and saw Su Wan staring ahead, bloodshot eyes frighteningly red. What are you sitting there for? Wang Yu asked in surprise. Trying to keep watch nonstop? What do you think? Su Wan's tone was resentful. If you stayed awake all day drowning in constant fear, you'd look just like me. You could have slept on the table if you wanted to, Wang Yu said as he slipped on his shoes to relieve himself. There were no restrooms in the security booth. At first he had made do with empty sports drink bottles, but once those ran out, he used trash bins instead. He had plenty of garbage bags. Afterward, he tied the bag tightly and tossed it into the greenery outside the window. Mineral water bottles were useless for the task. Their necks were far too narrow. Su Wan had no retort. Wang Yu had never forbidden her to sleep. Her fear was her own burden. Suddenly, Wang Yu's phone vibrated violently. It was an alert from the drone. Something was approaching the security booth. He gestured silently to Su Wan, then grabbed the riot shield. More monsters. Su Wan clapped a hand over her mouth, afraid her scream would enrage creatures and distract Wang Yu. Wang Yu held his phone, accessing the drone's live feed. The drone could not penetrate the black fog. Its effective vision extended only 1 meter. It was worth noting that the drone's detection range differed from its live vision. The detection sensor remained fixed in place and triggered an alarm whenever anything drew near, while the vision function operated like human sight and could move freely to scout. Each function carried clear pros and cons. Detection was stationary, and vision only covered a 1-meter radius, unlike the 10-meter range of the detection sensor. Just then, through the drone's moving camera feed, Wang Yu spotted 3 people sneaking toward the security booth. Chen Ji. Wang Yu recognized one of the 3. He was Chun Dabiao's townsman. Back when Wang Yu worked security, Chen Ji relied on his connection to the captain to earn higher pay while dumping night patrol duties onto Wang Yu. Wang Yu harbored deep resentment toward him. The three men carried weapons. Chen-Ji gripped a pry bar. Another security guard with a crew cut held a shovel. A third man wearing a property staff shirt wielded a golf club. Chen-Ji planned to seize the riot shields inside the booth. When he found the door locked, he stepped up to the window and peered inside. He caught sight of Wang Yu and Su Wan. Damn it! The sight of fair, beautiful Su Wan enraged Chen-Ji. His eyes blazed. You bastard! Living it up all by yourself. Chen-Ji shouted through the window at Wang Yu. Captain Chen called everyone to gather, but you ignored the message and hoarded supplies alone. The crew cut guard and the property man stared with envy. Su Wan was stunning, easily scoring 97 out of 100, a genuine wealthy beauty. Wang Yu had gotten to her first. The crew cut security guard burned with jealousy. The property staff member felt unfair as well. He worked for property management. Was he not higher status than Wang Yu? Why did Wang Yu get Su Wan? Watch your mouth. Wang Yu frowned. Oh, Chen-Ji sneered. The world's fallen into chaos. That doesn't mean you've grown stronger. You pretty boy dare talk back. Open this door. Chen-Ji slammed his palm against the window with a heavy thud. If you don't open up, I'll smash this window and climb inside. Once I get in, I'll beat you senseless. Wang Yu sighed internally. At the start of the doomsday, everyone had still clung to basic order. Though he disliked Chen-Ji, the man had not yet committed crimes worthy of death. Before facing the grinning monster, he was unsure if he could bring himself to fight Chen-Ji without hesitation. He had hoped they might exchange words and part ways peacefully. But terrible people grew far worse under terrible circumstances. Chen-Ji harbored hostile intentions, determined to attack him and take Su Wan for himself. He no longer bothered to maintain superficial civility. If that was how things stood, there was no point wasting words. Seeing that the newcomers were humans rather than monsters, Su Wan's fear faded. Indignation flared at Chen-Ji's insults. Mind your filthy tongue. Su Wan stepped forward, glaring coldly at Chen-Ji. You look awful, and your temper's even worse. If you're craving death, keep walking west. Quit your senseless shouting here. You're only disgracing yourself. Wang Yu struggled not to laugh. Even this elegant woman could speak bluntly when provoked. Chen-Ji's face flushed crimson. He could only spew crude insults as he stared at Su Wan, eyes blazing like a rabid dog. He would make her pay for her words. And Wang Yu, that handsome pretty boy he had always disliked. Today he would settle old and new scores alike. Looks like Wang Yu's got you fooled into defending him. Chen-Ji snarled. Do you think the old world still exists? That you can make a phone call and get help? The authorities mean nothing to me. Su Wan replied with a dismissive smile, voice full of pride. Wang Yu is my best choice. Take my advice. Leave now. Chen-Ji glanced at Wang Yu and scoffed. Those slender arms of yours. I could pin you down with one hand. His gaze returned to Su Wan, heavy with greed. I wonder how loud you'll scream once I get my hands on you. Chen-Ji raised the pry bar, ready to shatter the window. But Wang Yu pulled open the door and stepped outside first. Those who court misfortune bring it upon themselves. Su Wan trusted Wang Yu completely. Even facing 3 opponents, she believed he would win. I've never seen anyone rush out to die voluntarily. Chen-Ji walked with Wang Yu to the open space nearby, his expression menacing. Chen-Ji and the crew cut guard belonged to the patrol team, required to be physically robust. Wang Yu had worked as a reception security guard. Physical strength was not the priority for his post, only appearance. On paper, patrol staff were far more capable in fights. Chen-Ji was confident he could overpower Wang Yu like picking up a chick. Still, Wang Yu possessed a riot shield, so caution was wise. 3 against 1 guaranteed victory. None of the 3 men could imagine losing. I'll charge first, Chen-Ji whispered to the others. Look for openings to take him down. And I mean finish him off, not just rough him up. I'll take responsibility for everything with Captain Chen backing us. The crew cut guard and property man nodded firmly. If Wang Yu hoarded supplies alone, his fate was his own fault. You think smearing monster blood on your shield will scare us? Chen-Ji spotted the blood on Wang Yu's riot shield and rubber baton and jeered. You'll die here for nothing today. Eyes blazing, Chen-Ji charged at Wang Yu. The crew cut guard and property man moved to flank him from both sides. So slow, not nearly as fast as the grinning monster. To Wang Yu, Chen-Ji's movements looked like slow motion. He lunged forward in a single stride, closing the distance instantly. How can you move that quickly? Chen-Ji's eyes widened in shock. Wang Yu lifted the rubber baton. Boom. He struck Chen-Ji hard atop the skull, holding nothing back. Power channeled through the blow. The world spun violently for Chen-Ji. Blood streamed down from his head, blurring his vision completely. His legs buckled, and he crashed to his knees before collapsing. His last conscious thought was confusion. Wasn't Wang Yu only a reception guard? How could he fight so fiercely? The two men moving to surround Wang Yu froze, overcome with disbelief. Chen Ji had fallen before they even joined the fight. Chen Ji dragged us into this. We didn't want any trouble. The crew cut guard, a natural coward, forced a nervous smile. Wang Yu, no, brother Yu. This has nothing to do with us. We'll leave you in peace. As he spoke, the property man turned and fled, terror driving him forward as if ghosts chased his heels. Damn coward. The crew cut guard cursed the man for abandoning him, then sprinted away in a cold sweat. Wang Yu's killing intent hardened. He wasted no time. Boom. He delivered a finishing blow to Chen Ji's head, then burst forward at top speed. He swung the baton and struck the fleeing crew cut guard squarely on the back of the skull. The man crashed face first onto the ground, convulsing uncontrollably. Wang Yu raised the baton again and struck his head repeatedly until he was certain the guard would never rise again. As for the property man, he had already vanished into the black fog. Wang Yu deemed the man not worth chasing and risking himself. He had eliminated the two he wanted dead most, Chen Ji and the crew cut guard. Letting one minor enemy escape carried no real consequences. Wang Yu stared at the two bloodied bodies on the ground. Once the surge of adrenaline faded, a queasy feeling of taking another human's life washed over him. Ugh! He stumbled a few steps and vomited, the mess spilling across Chen Ji's body. It was only physical discomfort. Mentally, he felt no remorse. The two men had intended to kill him and see Su-wan. He could not be expected to repay malice with kindness. Here, Su-wan walked out and handed him a bottle of water. Wang Yu drank slowly until his nausea eased. Su-wan's gaze fell on the mangled corpses. Her stomach churned, and she threw up as well. Really? Wang Yu let out a dry laugh. You had to copy me and vomit too? I'm sorry. Su-wan burped sourly. The sight is too horrifying. I couldn't hold it back. Wang Yu passed her his water bottle. They had shared far more intimate contact before. Drinking from the same bottle meant nothing. Thank you. Su-wan took several sips. She watched Wang Yu in awe, witnessing how he had fought 3 attackers and killed 2 without injury, letting only one escape. I knew picking a fight with you was suicide, Su-wan said admiringly, her eyes shining. You're so formidable. Wasting your strength as an ordinary security guard was such a shame. Or were you deliberately lying low, living like a hidden master? Hidden master, my foot. Wang Yu grumbled. If I didn't need the money, I never would have endured those idiots on the security team, especially that scoundrel Chen Dabiao. Right now I'd love to smash his skull in. They must have bullied you endlessly back then, Su-wan said soothingly. But you hold all the power now. No one will dare mistreat you again. Wang Yu nodded. It was only the second day since Doomsday descended, yet his ordinary, exhausting life had been completely overturned. After a while, he and Su-wan returned to the security booth and locked the door securely. I don't feel like sleeping anymore. Wang Yu leaned back casually in a chair. You can lie down on the bed and rest if you want. Thank you so much. Su-wan nodded repeatedly with gratitude. With Wang Yu standing watch, she could finally close her eyes without fear. Wang Yu pulled out his phone and opened the drone control interface. He could pilot the drone, set tracking modes, and command flight with simple taps, just like playing a video game. The layout was intuitive. The drone's live feed occupied the top half of the screen, with directional control buttons below. He sent the drone flying out of Tianqing Court to scout the surrounding streets. Wrecked vehicles littered the road, covered in broken glass, blood, and chunks of flesh. A heavy silence hung everywhere. Something felt wrong, though he could not pinpoint exactly what it was. Someone over there. Wang Yu spotted a man trapped inside an electric vehicle, frantically alternating between typing messages and making calls. The drone's camera captured crystal-clear footage. The man's face was haggard, dark stubble covering his jaw. He kept dialing emergency numbers 99 times in a row, but not a single call connected. Wang Yu could almost feel the man's desperation and helplessness trapped in the car. Suddenly, a sharp spike shot out of the black fog to the 4 o'clock direction. It pierced the car's driver's side window, impaling the man straight through and pinning him against the seat behind him. Panic and terror flashed across his face before life slipped away. Wang Yu steered the drone toward the spike. 2 meters into the fog stood a pale blue monster, over 2 meters tall, hunched with long, gangly arms. That deadly spike had been one of its hands. Whoa! Wang Yu gasped softly. That's brutal. It can kill someone from 2 or 3 meters away. The cyan monster sported a pair of large ears, suggesting keen hearing. In the next instant, it spotted the small bee drone nearby. When it lifted its head to stare at the drone, it felt as if it was locking eyes directly with Wang Yu, making his heart skip a beat. Then a thought crossed his mind. What was there to fear? The monster was miles away from him. Screech! The cyan monster let out a shrill, vicious cry. It raised its right arm, which instantly morphed into a sharp spike and thrust forward. Wang Yu pressed the left arrow key. The bee veered left, dodging the spike. It was tiny, agile, highly maneuverable. Even if the cyan monster was Tier 1, landing a hit would be difficult. This monster boasts explosive power, but its attacks have a long cooldown. Wang Yu watched the monster retract its spike before striking again. As he steered the bee out of harm's way, he noticed roughly a 1 to 2 second gap between each attack. Even so, the creature posed a grave threat. Wang Yu wasn't confident he could evade its sudden explosive lunge if he faced it himself. The outside world really is deadly. If I ran into this beast, I'd probably end up dead. The cyan monster lunged once more, and Wang Yu maneuvered the bee to safety as he muttered, "Quit pushing your luck." He guided the bee to hover right in front of the monster's face. Frustrated by its inability to eliminate the pesky drone, the cyan monster grew agitated. The spike reverted back to a hand, and it swiped toward its own face without holding back. Wang Yu piloted the bee to slip away at the last second. A thunderous bang echoed as the monster struck itself square in the face. The impact sent it tumbling onto the ground. The bee hovered teasingly in front of the monster for a moment before flying off. Even far away, Wang Yu could still hear the beast's furious roars. Wang Yu flew the drone for a long stretch. The cyan monster was the only creature he encountered. It meant monster numbers were sparse, perhaps one creature every several hundred meters. That was good news for human survivors. If the streets teemed with monsters as deadly as this cyan beast, like hordes of zombies, humanity might as well surrender right now. Wait a minute. People. Wang Yu suddenly realized what had been nagging at him. Where had everyone gone? Taishan was a heavily populated nation. Jianghai City alone held 15 million residents. Yesterday had been a workday, and the oppressive black fog had descended amid sweltering heat, keeping many indoors. Even if monsters possessed enormous appetites, capable of devouring dozens at a time, the city should not look like a lifeless ghost town. There were barely any people and barely any monsters. Something was terribly wrong. System. Wang Yu voiced his confusion to the system. The system had always answered his questions promptly, yet this time it replied, "The host must uncover the answer on your own." If the system says that, there's definitely some hidden truth behind this. Wang Yu halfway regretted heading out to scout. Unease churned in his chest. The streets were eerily empty. Setting aside other unknown regions, take Jianghai City for example. Conservatively speaking, 2/3 of its population had vanished. The thought was terrifying. 10 million people had seemingly evaporated from one city. Still, avoidance solved nothing. All fear stemmed from insufficient strength. Wang Yu quickly composed himself. As long as he grew stronger, every obstacle would become surmountable. Wang Yu recalled the bee drone, set down his phone, and exhaled. He happened to glance over and see Su-Wan sitting on his bed, adjusting her stockings. Finally taking them off, Wang Yu chuckled. Su-Wan had beautiful, slender legs. Her skin was pale enough to see faint veins beneath the surface, and her toenails were painted with a shade called green cat's eye. She looked like a carefully crafted work of art. They had shared every meal and moment together since the previous day, growing comfortable in each other's company. Hearing Wang Yu's comment, Su-Wan lifted one foot casually toward him and wiggled her toes. "Like it?" Su-Wan smiled gently. "You haven't bathed in days. You've turned into quite the ascetic lately," Wang Yu joked, waving a hand in front of his nose. "I can smell it from here." "You're such a blockhead," Su-Wan huffed softly. "Even fairies don't smell bad after a few days without washing." "Nice try." Wang Yu returned to scrolling on his phone. "If you don't believe me, come take a sniff." Su-Wan stretched her foot toward him. "No thanks. I'd rather not risk getting sick." Wang Yu waved her off. "This rare treat won't come around again, you know," Su-Wan teased. "Don't say I didn't warn you." Sure. I'm utterly devastated," Wang Yu replied dismissively. "You just don't know a good thing when you see it." Unable to rouse him, Su-Wan lowered her legs. "Boring. I'm going to sleep." She lay back, looked at Wang Yu, and yawned. "I'm exhausted. I can't wait to get some proper rest." Meanwhile, Chen Dabiao had searched Unit C5 without finding Su-Wan, so he headed to Unit C88 to look for Jiang Qing. He did find her, but she escaped with the protection of her husband, Li Jinhua. Li Jinhua possessed a refined, gentle demeanor. He worked as a financial trader, exceptionally skilled, earning tens of millions each year. Now he was bound to a chair. "How did you get so lucky?" Chen Dabiao circled Li Jinhua, admiring the luxurious villa. "You live in a mansion worth tens of millions, drive cars costing millions, and married a wife prettier than any celebrity. Every time I patrolled past this house, I'd light a cigarette and wonder, why is the gap between people this huge?" "If you let me go," Li Jinhua said steadily, "the house the cars, all the money in my bank accounts. You can have everything. I don't need you to hand anything over. Chen Dabiao halted in front of Li Jinhua and suddenly lashed out, slapping him hard across the face. Crack! Li Jinhua's glasses flew off. One side of his face bloomed red and swollen. I initially thought you were simply resentful of the wealthy, but you're insecure and inferior. You rely on shouting and violence to mask your fragility. You're nothing but a small man drunk on power. Li Jinhua scoffed openly. Damn you! Chen Dabiao's deepest insecurities were laid bare. He flew into a rage, raising a rubber baton and smashing it against Li Jinhua's forehead. I'll beat you to death. Die! Blow after blow rained down. When Chen Dabiao finally stopped, Li Jinhua lay lifeless, his head covered in blood. The sheer brutality sent a chill through everyone watching. He was ruthless. Chen Dabiao had actually killed a man. Am I a small man? Chen Dabiao swept his gaze over the group. Everyone who met his ferocious stare quickly shook their heads. The world has changed. Chen Dabiao kicked the chair and Li Jinhua's body over, spat on his face, and declared arrogantly, once, success required education and brains. Now, all you need is a strong fist. Lucky for me, my fist is plenty strong. No millionaires or billionaires in Star Court can stand above me. Chen Dabiao sank into an imported leather sofa. He seethed over his failure to capture Jiang Qing and let her slip away. The mere thought of her stoked his anger. Just then, the shirt-clad man who had gone to Unit C5 rushed breathlessly into Unit C88, calling out to anyone he saw. Where's Brother Biao? Over here. Chen Dabiao spoke up. Brother Biao. The shirt-clad man burst out of the black fog, spotted Chen Dabiao on the sofa, and gasped, drenched in sweat. Chen Ji is dead. Did you run into a monster? Chen Dabiao shot to his feet. It wasn't a monster. The man struggled to catch his breath. We met Wang Yu and Su Wan at the security booth. Wang Yu went completely wild. He struck Chen Ji dead with one blow. Zhao Yi and I couldn't fight him, so we ran. Zhao Yi didn't make it out. The Zhao Yi he mentioned was the crew cut man. Chen Dabiao frowned deeply, suspecting the Wang Yu they described was not the same man he knew. The Wang Yu he knew was quiet and docile. He would let Chen Dabiao borrow his cigarettes and water, always taking on the tedious, unwanted work others refused. He never complained. Even when Chen Dabiao demanded he spend hundreds treating everyone to food and drinks after payday, he never uttered a word of protest. Put plainly, he was a pushover. There was no way he could turn violent, let alone fight 3 men and kill someone. You must have mistaken him for someone else, Chen Dabiao doubted. Could the man you saw be a monster in disguise? I'd recognize Wang Yu anywhere. A girl in the office even had a crush on him. Chen Ji spoke directly to him, and Su Wan spoke up for him too. The shirt-clad man insisted firmly. It was definitely him, not a monster. Seeing the man's frantic certainty, Chen Dabiao accepted the story. Wang Yu really might have undergone a drastic shift. The meek man he remembered was gone. Tell me everything that happened in detail. From the man's account, Chen Dabiao learned Wang Yu had only fought Chen Ji one-on-one. Zhao Yi fled as soon as he saw Chen Ji get struck down. Chen Ji was useless. He must have underestimated Wang Yu because he used to be easy to bully and let his guard down. Chen Dabiao clung to this explanation. He had already lost track of Jiang Qing, and he was determined not to lose Su Wan as well. He was nothing like the incompetent Chen Ji. Including himself, Chen Dabiao commanded 11 men. He had already killed once and knew he could handle taking down Wang Yu. Listen closely. Chen Dabiao gathered all his men and issued a warning. We're going after Wang Yu. If anyone tries to run, don't think you can hide anywhere in Star Court. I will hunt you down and break your legs. A cold dread settled over every man. They did not know how powerful Wang Yu was, but they had witnessed Chen Dabiao's cruelty firsthand. Now they could only hope Wang Yu would not hold them accountable. If anyone was to blame, it was Wang Yu himself for being unlucky and crossing paths with a vicious man like Chen Dabiao. Let's move. Chen Dabiao led the group out into the fog. Meanwhile, Wang Yu sat eating Walnut Snow Crisps while watching a video. Su Wan lay asleep on the bed, her breathing slow and steady. If one ignored the ongoing apocalypse, the moment felt strangely peaceful. Buzz. The B drone suddenly vibrated violently. Wang Yu pulled up the drone's live feed and watched the black fog part. Chen Dabiao emerged with 10 men marching forward with threatening momentum. Chen Dabiao. Wang Yu's pupils constricted. He had guessed the survivor who escaped would report back, and Chen Dabiao might come for him, yet he had not expected such a large group. It baffled him. People chose to follow Chen Dabiao blindly instead of taking control of their own fates. Wang Yu had underestimated how deeply fear gripped the survivors in this broken world, and their desperate urge to band together for safety. I stand a chance against 3 or 4 men. Wang Yu quickly assessed his grim predicament. If all 11 rush me at once, one solid hit could kill me. I don't have enough lives to survive that. Recalling how he defeated Chen Ji and the others, a plan formed. I'll take out Chen Dabiao first. Once their leader falls, the rest will fall into disarray. Holding his phone in one hand and a rubber baton in the other, Wang Yu climbed out of the security booth through the opposite window. He circled around the group through the fog, guided by the B drone's vision, which let him see clearly even amid the black mist. As Chen Dabiao neared the security booth, he signaled his men to stay quiet and crept toward the window. He caught sight of Su Wan's silhouette on the bed. A greedy grin spread across his face. What a beauty! To get close to someone like Su Wan would make death worthwhile. He suddenly noticed Wang Yu was nowhere inside the booth. Where's Wang Yu? Maybe he stepped outside to relieve himself? Chen Dabiao turned to scan the shrubbery, assuming Wang Yu was nearby. He had no idea the fog in front of the security booth was shifting. A human figure materialized rapidly, and the shirt-clad man spotted him first. The shirt-clad man's eyes widened in terror. Wang Yu's sudden appearance sent a chill racing down his spine. Brother Biao, he tried to shout a warning, but Wang Yu struck without hesitation, swinging the rubber baton straight toward Chen Dabiao's head. Chen Dabiao barely registered the movement before the baton, charged with Tier 1 strength, crashed into his skull. Arg! Agony exploded through him. His vision spun wildly. Thud! He collapsed to the ground. Blood streamed down from his scalp, covering his eyes and cheeks. His skull was tough enough to withstand the full blow, and he remained conscious. Horror and confusion flooded his mind. How had Wang Yu known they were coming? How could he see through the dense fog? Normal people could only see 1 meter ahead in the mist. There was no way Wang Yu could spot them without revealing himself. Spare me. Blinded by blood, Chen Dabiao could only make out Wang Yu's blurred outline and held out his hands in panic. Don't kill me. It's me, Wang Yu. You stole my cigarettes back then. Wang Yu raised the baton high and brought it crashing down again onto Chen Dabiao's head. Stealing my cigarettes wasn't enough. You even took my leftover pack and my lighter. You made me spend my wages drinking and dining out. You used me to curry favor with others. Keep begging. Every blow unleashed the grievances and humiliation Wang Yu had endured back when he worked alongside Chen Dabiao. Chen Dabiao screamed and pleaded at first, choking on blood as the beating continued, until he finally fell silent, dead. The 10 other men hesitated when Wang Yu landed the first strike on Chen Dabiao, ready to rush forward and help. But as they watched Wang Yu descend into a ruthless frenzy, his overwhelming ferocity rooted them to the spot. Blood splattered across Wang Yu's face. He gasped for breath and lifted his gaze toward the survivors. Now it's your turn. Wang Yu pulled his lips into a bright smile, yet it looked menacing to the terrified onlookers. No one had ever seen anything like this. 1 man against 10, and he carried himself with such unshakable confidence. An outside observer would think he held all the advantages. The truth remained that the odds were still stacked against him. 11 opponents had become 10, but the danger was barely diminished. If all 10 charged together, Wang Yu would have no choice but to run. Trying to fight them all would be suicide. A single solid strike would be fatal. But did the 10 men dare to attack? The answer was no. Wang Yu's rage burned hot after killing Chen Dabiao. None of these survivors had ever taken a life, and they could barely bring themselves to face him. Panic clouded their minds. They could not think rationally about their numerical advantage or wonder if Wang Yu was merely bluffing. I only came along because I was pressured. Leave me alone. 1 man turned and fled, triggering a mass scramble as everyone scattered in all directions. They had marched over boldly, and now they ran for their lives. Wang Yu refused to let them escape freely. He checked the B drone's feed on his phone, chased down the shirt-clad man, and struck him on the head with the baton. The shirt-clad man crumpled to the ground, convulsing. Regret washed over him. He had escaped Wang Yu once before. Why had he come back to die? He should have stayed at the property office instead of seeking out Chen Dabiao. Bang! Following his new habit of finishing threats off, Wang Yu struck the unconscious man once more before pursuing the others. The group that arrived with such menace now lay scattered, some dead and others fled. Wang Yu drew heavy breaths, lifted his shirt to wipe sweat from his face, and stared at the bodies littering the ground. Turmoil stirred inside him, though less intensely than when he killed Chen Ji. Killing 1 weighed heavy on the conscience. Killing many forged a ruthless resolve. Looking back, he was grateful he had unlocked the Special Forces skill. It let him quickly analyze enemy strength and weakness, make clear judgments, and act decisively, wielding his Tier 1 power to resolve threats. Without that tactical awareness and steady mindset, he would still be the timid security guard from before. When Chen Dabiao and his crew showed up, he would have frozen for precious seconds. By the time he snapped out of shock, Chen Dabiao would have closed in, and he would never have gotten the chance to strike first. Su Wan had woken the moment Wang Yu knocked Chen Dabiao down. She watched his bloodied, furious form from a distance, too afraid to step closer. A terrible fear gnawed at her, worried she might become the target of his uncontrolled rage. Ugh! Overwhelmed by horrific sights and stress, her stomach churned. She turned away and vomited into a trash bin. She had thrown up not long ago, but this time mostly bitter stomach acid came up. Wang Yu is changing so fast. Su Wan's eyes glistened with tears. Not long ago, we were both throwing up together. Now he doesn't flinch at all. He's already adapted to the horrors of killing. She felt more pride than fear to have someone as capable and resolute as Wang Yu beside her. Yet she could not help but pity anyone foolish enough to become his enemy. To stand against him felt utterly hopeless. His strength was far beyond ordinary limits. Wang Yu regained his composure. He realized his previous plan was no longer viable. Staying long-term in the security booth was too risky. The booth was small, exposed to threats from every direction. If someone like Chen Dabiao targeted him, charging in without hesitation under cover of the black fog, they could ambush him before he could react. Wang Yu needed to learn from this fight. He had to find a place with natural buffer zones to rest. Luckily, he still had the B drone to scout ahead and avoid danger. He could claim one of the empty villas within Star Court. Later, he could set the drone to patrol the villa walls continuously. It would warn him of any approaching threats. Crunch! Wang Yu heard sand shift under footsteps. He turned toward his 7 o'clock position as the black fog parted, revealing a woman with sharp, fox-like features and a beauty mark beneath her left eye. He recognized her instantly. Jiang Qing. Alongside Su Wan, she was counted among the 2 most wealthy and beautiful women living in Zone C. Whether she was the most attractive in Star Court was debatable, as Zones A, B, and C were separated from one another. Each zone had different facilities and standards. Wang Yu had never been permitted into Zones A and B, not even as a security guard. Those posts required former military service. Why would she venture out alone? Wang Yu wondered at Jiang Qing's presence. Jiang Qing feared staying in her home would let Chen Dabiao track her down. She planned to flee the residential complex and had to pass the security booth to get out. She stumbled out of the fog and came face to face with Wang Yu. Her breath caught. Then she spotted the bodies of Chen Dabiao and his men scattered on the ground. The same group who had terrorized her in Unit C-88 now lay dead. He killed all of them alone? Jiang Qing stared at the only living person standing there in stunned disbelief. She could not fathom how one man could slay more than a dozen opponents. Most frightening of all, he appeared completely unharmed, only slightly dusty. Traumatized by Chen Dabiao, Jiang Qing dared not assume Wang Yu meant no harm. After only 3 seconds of shock, she turned and ran. Now that his group is dead, my house should be safe, she reasoned. She kept a clear head and avoided running outside the residential compound, instead sprinting toward her villa. Wang Yu did not give chase. Jiang Qing was undeniably striking and alluring, but his own survival was far from secure. He had no spare energy to pursue women. Chasing her and walking into an avoidable trap would be incredibly foolish. His priority was growing stronger. Romantic distractions would only slow his progress. Let's get packed up. Wang Yu headed to the security booth to find Su Wan. We're moving to another place. If you haven't decided where to go, how about my house? Su Wan's eyes lit up. Returning home would be convenient. She had her own clothes there, including personal garments. Sounds good. Wang Yu agreed at once, thinking C5 was not far from the security booth. He pulled out his phone and sent the drone ahead to scout the path. Wonderful. Su Wan broke into a bright smile. She hurried to gather their belongings. There was not much to take. The large bottled water was too cumbersome to transport, so they only packed snacks, chargers, and water bottles. It was hard to locate anything amid the thick black mist. Water was essential and constantly consumed. Wang Yu planned to come back tomorrow after waking up to move the water barrels. He had no intention of fetching the water tonight. He had fought 3 grueling battles and was exhausted. If staying at the security booth did not feel so unsafe, he would have preferred to sleep first and transfer the supplies to C5 the next day. Su Wan walked beside Wang Yu along the internal roads of Star Court. She stared at the all-encompassing black fog surrounding them, which blocked all sight. It felt like being locked inside a pitch-black room, making it hard for her to breathe. Nervousness gnawed at Su Wan, and sweat dampened her palms. She glanced toward Wang Yu and noticed his head bowed as he stared at his mobile phone. His composure was astounding. In such a perilous environment, he still had the leisure to look at his screen, seemingly unworried about dropping his guard. Su Wan knew nothing about the surveillance drone and could not make out what he was viewing from behind him. She mistakenly assumed he was scrolling through videos. She wondered if defeating so many foes had inflated his confidence, making him underestimate every threat around them. Suwon wanted to warn him, yet hesitated, afraid of upsetting him. After holding back for a while and seeing he still focused on his phone, she tried to remind him lightheartedly, forcing a smile. You're walking and looking at your phone at the same time. Aren't you afraid of running into a utility pole? I know what I'm doing, Wang Yu replied calmly. Suwon felt a little exasperated. Fine. When you possess strength, you can afford to be reckless. This uncertainty is unbearable. Sweat soaked Suwon's hair as she gazed at the dense black mist. She had no way of knowing whether a monster would leap out at any second. Wang Yu was directing the drone to circle and scout the area centered on him and Suwon. So far, the device had detected nothing unusual. When they neared C5, a grotesque monster appeared on the drone's feet. Its appearance was deeply unsettling. It had no upper lip, exposing jagged, yellowed fangs, and multiple distorted faces seemed stacked across its head. The flickering, overlapping faces stirred a sense of familiarity within Wang Yu. He knew he had seen them somewhere before. The realization struck him sharply. Those faces belonged to the residents of C3, their family members, and Wang Fu. C3 stood right next to C5. The monster must have wandered out from that villa. The property manager Zhang Hao had posted a message in the residents group the previous day. A C3 household had reported strange noises coming from their home and offered 50,000 yuan for someone to investigate. Wang Fu, the cleaner drowning in debt, had volunteered for the reward. Piecing everything together, Wang Yu suspected the family from C3 and Wang Fu had all become the monster's victims. A terrible tragedy. This creature had slaughtered everyone in C3. A chill ran down Wang Yu's spine. He halted cautiously. Suwon, following closely, bumped into his back and asked in confusion, "What's wrong?" "Wait a moment," Wang Yu answered. "There's a monster ahead." "How can you tell?" Suwon panicked, scanning her surroundings. She saw nothing out of the ordinary. "Spider sense," Wang Yu replied casually. "Are you serious?" Suwon looked around, seeing nothing amiss, eyeing him suspiciously. She strongly suspected he was teasing her. "I can't properly explain it to an ordinary person like you." Wang Yu teased her, studying the monster on his screen and forming a plan. "Let's first gauge how powerful it is." Wang Yu steered the drone straight toward the monster. The creature swiped its claw, but the drone dodged by diving sharply. Enraged, the monster opened its massive jaws and let out a deafening roar that vibrated the air. The faces of the C3 family and Wang Fu flashed rapidly across its skin, twisted with terror and ferocity. The sight was horrifying. The drone was a machine, unaffected by the sonic roar, but Wang Yu and Suwon, positioned more than 10 meters away, felt a sharp stabbing pain in their ears. "You really do have spider sense." Clamping her hands over her ears, Suwon stared at Wang Yu in shock. She now fully believed his offhand remark. It dawned on her that he had not grown overconfident while staring at his phone. He had everything under control. "You're amazing. You've uncovered my secret." Wang Yu chatted casually with Suwon while using the drone to test the monster's strength. It was on par with the long-haired lady they had fought before. Not a Tier 1 threat. Lots of noise, yet far less dangerous than it appeared. "You're impossible." Suwon rolled her eyes. She could hear he was speaking to her, as if complimenting a small child. "Stay close and try not to make any noise." Wang Yu put his phone away and gripped his rubber baton, and advanced silently toward the monster. Thanks to the vision feed from his drone, the mist that troubled everyone else became the perfect cover for a surprise ambush. "You already know exactly where it is. Why go toward it?" Suwon whispered curiously. "Wang Yu could easily take a detour. It's right beside C5, Wang Yu reasoned clearly. "If I have a chance to eliminate it now, I should. Better safe than sorry." Suwon understood instantly. Wang Yu was truly bold yet meticulous. The fog obscured the monster's vision. When he was 1 meter away, Wang Yu unleashed Tier 1 power, charging out of the mist. The rubber baton was already raised. As he closed in, he struck hard against the monster's jaws. Boom! The roar died abruptly. 2 fangs snapped off, tumbling out alongside a stream of dark, foul blood. Wang Yu lifted the baton once more and brought it crashing down onto the monster's forehead. Its eyeball burst under the impact. The monster collapsed to the ground. Thud! Thud! Wang Yu delivered 2 finishing blows. The threat was eliminated. It was no different from playing a game with wall hacks. He locked onto the monster's position and struck first. The creature barely caught sight of him before falling, unable to land a single counterattack. It was almost pathetic to think about. This beast that had killed multiple people had been slain without landing a single hit. "That monster looks revolting." Suwon glanced at the corpse, overcome with disgust, and quickly turned her gaze away. I don't understand something. You have such an incredible ability like spider sense, so why do you work as a security guard in this neighborhood? Suwon asked, thoroughly confused. Wang Yu smiled faintly. Once upon a time, landing the security job at Star Court had been a stroke of luck, all thanks to his decent looks. Without that, he would have ended up working in factories or delivering takeout. He saw no need to explain the whole story to Suwon. He answered playfully, I am a security guard, protecting peace for all. I love honey biscuits, and I have a soft spot for resident Xiao Dan. Who's Xiao Dan? Suwon asked, a faint trace of jealousy in her tone. What makes her so special that you like her? I was just joking, Wang Yu laughed. Then, Suwon said earnestly, I'm resident Xiao Dan, and I refuse to let you have feelings for me. Wang Yu fell momentarily speechless. Nice one. Light-hearted banter chased away the eerie atmosphere. Suwon then scanned her fingerprint to unlock the gate and stepped into the yard of C5. They followed the cobblestone path to the front door. C5 was a two-story townhouse spanning several hundred square meters. Including renovations, the property would have cost 20 to 30 million yuan. A mansion Wang Yu could never afford, even if he worked his entire life. He could not fathom Xiao Xiong's mindset, spending such an astronomical sum on a woman he only admired from afar. From what Wang Yu knew, wealthy men usually only needed 1 or 2 million to keep a woman by their side. Still, he recalled how some wealthy tycoons bought villas purely to house collectibles, toys, or antiques. In that light, Xiao Xiong's behavior was somewhat comprehensible. My shoes are dirty. Wang Yu had formed a habit from his security work. Whenever he entered a resident's home to help carry items, he always asked for shoe covers to avoid staining the floors. Suwon paused at his words, then remembered his former occupation as a security guard and relaxed. There's no need to worry. What's mine is yours. Would you fret about dirtying your own house? Wang Yu chuckled at his own reflexive comment and shifted his mindset. My feet aren't comfortable in these shoes anyway. Let's get you changed. Wait. Suwon rummaged inside the shoe cabinet and pulled out a brand new pair of slippers she had bought for Xiao Xiong, which he had never worn. The size was nearly identical to Wang Yu's. She knelt down, removed his leather shoes and socks, and slipped the slippers onto his feet. I've never taken off anyone's shoes before. Suwon looked up at Wang Yu with a gentle smile. Even Xiao Xiong never got this treatment. Lucky you then. You make it look far too easy. It doesn't seem like your first time doing this. Wang Yu raised an eyebrow and grinned. It's not exactly difficult. Suwon rolled her eyes. But I suppose I'm eager to do it well because deep down, I think of myself as your partner. I want to take good care of you. Wang Yu did not dwell on her remark. It was unimportant. Suwon asked, do the slippers fit? Perfectly. Wang Yu walked into the living room and sank onto the sofa. It felt as if he was resting on a cloud, supporting every part of his body. He let out a long, relieved sigh. Everything owned by the wealthy was built for comfort. Apart from the steep price tag, there was nothing wrong with it. He picked up his phone and set the drone to patrol mode. The machine would continuously circle the exterior of C5 and alert him if it detected anything suspicious. Even if something slipped past its patrol route, the villa's walls and doors offered another line of defense, buying Wang Yu precious warning time. This location was undeniably safer than the security booth, which lacked any buffer zone. Meanwhile, Suwon walked over to the refrigerator. She took out a lemon, a can of cola, and a glass, scooping ice cubes from the freezer compartment. She was clearly planning to make iced lemon cola. She sliced 2 lemon wedges, placed them in the glass, and gently pressed them with a straw before popping open the cola and pouring it in. Carbon dioxide bubbled vigorously as the cola mixed with the citrus juice. You've been busy all day? You must be worn out. Suwon handed the drink to Wang Yu before turning to wash some fruit. Thankfully, the power had not gone out. All the fruit and dairy inside the refrigerator remained fresh. The first sip of cola was always the best. Wang Yu took a large gulp. The caramel sweetness of the drink blended beautifully with the bright aroma of lemon, and the fizz danced across his tongue. Wang Yu exhaled contentedly. Nothing beat this on a sweltering day. When he remembered they were living through an apocalypse, where most survivors fought desperately just to survive another day, the simple drink felt infinitely more precious. I am exhausted. Wang Yu leaned back on the sofa. Suwon carried over a fruit platter filled with washed grapes, sliced apples, watermelon, and mango, and set it on the coffee table. She saw how drained he looked, walked over and nestled into his embrace, resting her head against his chest and listening to his heartbeat as she stayed quietly beside him. Having her close beside him filled Wang Yu with a sense of ease he had never known before. Wang Yu narrowed his eyes. He suddenly noticed the surveillance camera mounted on the ceiling, a strange sensation that someone was watching them. Suwon had told him earlier that Xiao Xiong feared being betrayed. so he had installed cameras inside the villa. He even sent people to monitor her movements whenever she left the property. Do you think Xiao Xiong could be watching us right now? Wang Yu asked casually. Don't scare me. Fear of Xiao Xiong made Su Wan sit upright instinctively. She quickly calmed herself, remembering the ongoing apocalypse, and leaned back into his arms. I have you with me, Su Wan said reassuringly. I have nothing to fear. Besides, the fog descended a long time ago, and he hasn't sent me a single message. I wouldn't be surprised if he's no longer alive. Whether he's alive or dead. Wang Yu glanced toward the camera with a faint smirk. It almost feels like we're being watched by him right now. You have such a mischievous streak. Su Wan's ears flushed pink. Years of resentment toward her confined life as Xiao Xiong's kept woman stirred inside her, and she felt a strange thrill. Wang Yu leaned down and pressed a soft kiss to her forehead. Su Wan was equally moved and returned the gentle gesture. Neither of them realized their idle speculation was correct. Xiao Xiong was indeed staring at the live camera feed on his mobile phone. When the black fog descended, Xiao Xiong opened the surveillance feed and saw Su Wan was not at home. He had immediately assumed the young woman had perished outside. That line of thinking came naturally. Many acquaintances of his, including his physically capable subordinates who had been caught outdoors, were either dead or missing. Moments earlier, Xiao Xiong's phone sent an alert, motion detected on the camera feed. He rushed to open the stream, hoping the movement belonged to Su Wan rather than someone like Chun Dabiao, who had triggered a false alarm once before. The motion was indeed Su Wan, yet what he saw filled him with rage from the very start. Xiao Xiong's eyes turned red. He stared rigidly at Wang Yu and Su Wan on screen, trembling with fury. He had poured tens of millions of yuan and endless effort into nurturing his prized possession, only to watch Wang Yu grow close to her. Su Wan had a temper. Aware she was at the peak of her beauty and knowing men often prioritized youth and appearance, Xiao Xiong had indulged her and never forced her into anything she disliked. But now he watched Su Wan take off Wang Yu's shoes, prepare drinks, and wash fruit for him. She had never once done any of those things for Xiao Xiong. He had never seen her look so tender curled up in another man's embrace, or witness her shy expressions and thoughtful gestures toward Wang Yu. Every sight felt alien, as if he was seeing a completely different Su Wan. Beast! Xiao Xiong snarled at the screen, seething with hatred toward Wang Yu. A stray dog daring to touch what belongs to me. I'll make you regret ever being born. Wang Yu had invested nothing, yet walked away with everything Xiao Xiong cherished. Anyone placed in his position would be utterly devastated. He craved nothing more than to tear Wang Yu apart. Xiao Xiong dialed a friend staying in Zone B of Star Court and spoke without preamble. Lao Mo, good to hear you're still alive. You know I own a security firm. Head over to C5 and kill a man for me, and I'll send men to bring you to my private manor. Deal. Chen Yingma agreed without hesitation. He never doubted Xiao Xiong's ability to arrange evacuation. Xiao Xiong's influence in Jianghai City was widely recognized. If he could not pull it off, no one else could. Wang Yu remained unaware he had driven Xiao Xiong into a murderous rage. He had fought 4 battles in one day, suffered vomiting spells, and barely gotten any rest. After sharing a quiet, tender moment with Su Wan, he drifted off into deep sleep. When he woke up, the clock read 10 o'clock the next morning. I slept for more than 10 hours. Wang Yu sat up on Su Wan's bed and stretched, feeling thoroughly refreshed. The first thing he did upon waking was draw his daily ability card. Skill reward. 1 bottle of mineral water refreshes every second. Wang Yu read the card description. It was excellent. Food and water, the 2 most vital resources in the apocalypse, were no longer a concern. He could generate tens of thousands of bottles and packaged meals every single day. He would never struggle to secure basic sustenance again, a luxury countless survivors dreamed of. With this ability, he could safely remain indoors and avoid venturing outside indefinitely. Wang Yu picked up his phone and saw an official mandatory notice broadcast across all networks by Great Xia. Do not consume tap water. He tapped to read the full announcement. Government agencies had conducted water sampling tests and discovered high concentrations of known and unknown pathogens in the municipal water supply. They suspected the black fog had contaminated tap water nationwide. Survivors who drank it would at minimum fall severely ill. Tests were also carried out on boiled tap water and factory-sealed bottled water. Only unopened bottled water remained safe for consumption. The announcement dealt a devastating blow to survivors. Online forums were flooded with complaints and despairing messages. I buy water in large barrels and only keep a limited supply at home. I've got 3 family members, and we only have half a barrel left. Even rationing strictly, we can't last more than a few days. This news is a disaster. I thought I could boil tap water if supplies ran low. I have plenty of rice and flour, enough to survive 2 or 3 months. Now they're saying tap water is undrinkable? I'll be forced outside within a week. Nobody dares step outdoors in these conditions. If tap water is unsafe, how will we shower, brush our teeth? Soon we won't even have clean water to wash our hands or flush toilets. Sigh. I didn't dare brush my teeth this morning. Wang Yu recognized that he would have faced exactly the same predicament if luck had not favored him with the water-generating skill. The official warning would have left him trapped with no viable water source. He had originally planned to return to the security booth to retrieve the large water barrels after waking up, but that trip was no longer necessary. He had an endless supply. The system produced one 520-milliliter bottle of water every second, amounting to 86,400 bottles each day, equivalent to 44.9 to 8 tons of water. There was more water than he could ever use, more than enough even for watering plants. Wang Yu walked to the bathroom to relieve himself and wash up. He then summoned bottles of water from his storage space and poured them into the bathtub. It had been 2 days since the fog arrived, and he had not bathed once. Grime clung to his skin, leaving him sticky and sweaty. He could endure discomfort when resources were scarce, especially when clean drinking water had been hard to come by. Now that he possessed unlimited water, he could afford to bathe every day. He felt noticeably lighter after washing. He left the bathroom to find Su-Wan. Visibility was 0 in the fog, so he called out, "Su-Wan, I'm over by the dining table." Su-Wan's clear voice drifted up from the ground floor. "Come quickly. I've prepared breakfast for you." Wang Yu had barely eaten anything after vomiting the previous day, and hunger gnawed at him. It's wonderful to wake up to a ready meal. Wang Yu headed downstairs to the living room. The house was so large he accidentally wandered into the fitness area and scratched his head. A mansion this size had its downsides. He had gotten lost. "What's taking you so long?" "I'm coming." Wang Yu followed the sound of her voice and found Su-Wan. He noticed she appeared low-spirited. "You didn't sleep well last night?" He glanced at the dining table, which held milk, boiled eggs, sandwiches, and a loaf of toast. "I slept straight through until 8 o'clock this morning," Su-Wan said glumly. "I was in a good mood until I saw that official notice from Great Xiao warning everyone not to drink tap water. It completely ruined my day. You have no idea. Shortly after the warning was released, I saw someone in the homeowners group offering 1,000 for a single bottle of water. Later, several homeowners fought over water. A 500-milliliter bottle of water was driven up to 5,000. Su-Wan sighed. "I'm worried about our drinking water. We only have 1 case of bottled water and some sparkling water at home. It won't last long. I didn't even dare brush my teeth this morning. Don't kiss me if you haven't brushed your teeth." Wang Yu lost interest in her worries when he heard she was anxious about water and smiled as he bit into a sandwich. It was filled with tuna. Tasted pretty good. Naturally, Su-Wan hadn't made the sandwich. Looking at her fair, delicate hands done up with manicures, the hardest thing she'd probably ever done was grab an iced Americano. She was definitely not someone who cooked. "You seem completely unfazed." Su-Wan frowned at Wang Yu, thinking he was far too relaxed to crack jokes when she couldn't even manage a smile. "It's not that I'm unconcerned. We have an endless supply of water," Wang Yu said easily. "You don't need to ration it. No need to save water for trivial things. Brush your teeth whenever you want. Take showers as you please. You could bathe 8 times a day if you felt like it." If anyone else said that, I wouldn't believe them. But I know you have the means to back it up. Su-Wan trusted Wang Yu without hesitation. If he said it, she believed it. When she calmed down and thought it through, he possessed his spider sense, which let him locate water far more easily than others. He really didn't need to stress over drinking water, at least not in the short term. "Wait a second." Su-Wan suddenly realized what he'd implied and glared at him. "Where did you get that idea? I never saved water that way." She pretended to gag. "That's gross. Why bring that up while we're eating?" Wang Yu chuckled and finished the sandwich in a few bites. "You can boil eggs?" Wang Yu picked up a peeled egg. "They're pre-made," Su-Wan replied. "Nice." Wang Yu popped the egg into his mouth. Knowing it was prefabricated made it taste a little odd. He wondered if he ought to hire a chef to live on the premises. Now that he'd grown stronger, his quality of life needed to improve. Living off pre-packaged processed food all the time couldn't be good. "These eggs cost more than 10 each," Su-Wan said. She caught a familiar scent and glanced toward Wang Yu. It was the fragrance of her shampoo in his hair. "That wasn't the main point, though. You already took a shower?" Su-Wan stared in shock. Wang Yu nodded. "You really aren't short of water. Everyone just found out tap water isn't safe to drink, and here you are taking a shower at a time like this." Now that she knew water wasn't an issue for him, her skin itched all over. "I'm going to take a shower too. This is the most expensive shower I've ever had." At the going rate of 5,000 a bottle in the group, Every minute under the spray is flushing away 50 to 80,000 worth of water. Suwon spoke quickly. Take your time eating. I'm off to shower. All right, Wang Yu said casually. Make sure you brush your teeth thoroughly. My breath isn't bad. Smell for yourself. Suwon darted forward playfully to get close to his face, then spun away laughing. What an odd habit, wanting everyone to smell your breath. Wang Yu grabbed a tissue to wipe his face, then sniffed cautiously. Her breath really didn't smell bad. Beautiful women tended to prioritize skincare and health. They stuck to regular sleep schedules, watched their diets, and limited sugar and oil intake. When the body was well cared for, breath naturally stayed fresh. Wang Yu shook his head with a faint laugh. I almost lost my senses just now. If I dare smell her breath today, who knows what I'll do next? Buzz. His phone vibrated violently. The patrolling surveillance drones had detected an intruder. Wang Yu pulled out his phone. Through the drone's live feed, he saw a man in training uniform gripping a dagger, creeping cautiously toward the villa. The man was Gao Yuan, Chen Ma's personal bodyguard. He'd served 3 years in a foreign legion overseas, seen real combat, and had countless lives on his conscience. He possessed outstanding fighting skills and discipline. Chen Ma had hired him with a generous salary. He had come to Suwon's villa on Chen Ma's orders to kill Wang Yu. Wang Yu did not recognize Gao Yuan. He had never seen him in Zone C before. Even through the screen, he could sense the oppressive aura rolling off the man. The sharp gaze, the predatory posture of a tiger stalking prey. Wang Yu immediately assessed him. This was a formidable fighter, and he meant harm. He isn't a resident of Zone C. Why travel all this way? He's heading straight for this villa. He doesn't look like he's searching for supplies. Could his target be Suwon? Wang Yu guessed his motive, never suspecting the threat was aimed at himself. After all, who would travel such a distance to hunt down a male security guard? It made far more sense if he was after Suwon. Her beauty was famous across Starcourt Villa. Countless men coveted her. If he intends to harm her, I have to strike first. I can't risk waiting for him to reach the door. Sensing the danger Gao Yuan posed, Wang Yu did not dare underestimate him. He grabbed a rubber baton and slipped outside the villa, tracking Gao Yuan's movements in real time via the drones. Gao Yuan had no idea he had been discovered. He moved silently through the opaque black fog, where visibility was zero. The surroundings were eerily quiet. A persistent sense of unease tugged at Gao Yuan's mind. Still, he pushed the feeling aside. He thought Wang Yu was merely an ordinary security guard at Starcourt Villa, untrained and unremarkable. Killing him would be overkill. He blamed his unease on the strange fog. The boss confirmed there are no monsters in the house. This assassination of Wang Yu should go smoothly, Gao Yuan thought as he anticipated potential risks. Suddenly, the fog beside him split open. A man charged out. Whoosh! Wang Yu gripped the rubber baton tight, swinging it with tremendous force straight toward Gao Yuan's head. Gao Yuan's eyes widened in alarm. The brute strength behind the strike terrified him. He dared not block it and threw himself backward to dodge. Wang Yu's baton struck empty air. He was surprised. Gao Yuan was no ordinary person to evade such a sudden ambush. Wang Yu was a Tier 1 human, his strength and speed 2 to 3 times greater than an average person. Foes like Chun Dabiao and the monsters he faced usually collapsed with a single blow. It proved Gao Yuan boasted rich combat experience, able to make optimal split-second choices amid danger. Wang Yu. Gao Yuan had seen Wang Yu's profile. The moment he laid eyes on him, he recognized his target. Shock surged through him. How did he find me? I deliberately avoided surveillance spots and used the fog for cover. How could he pinpoint my location so accurately? I underestimated him. Gao Yuan realized he had lost the initiative. This security guard was far from ordinary. There was something uncanny about him. I didn't waste my years overseas. No matter how unusual he is, he's still just a security guard. He won't walk away from this alive. Gao Yuan's distraction lasted barely a fraction of a second. Seizing the chance created by Wang Yu's missed swing, he lowered his stance and closed in. The dagger in his hand thrust repeatedly toward Wang Yu's torso. Wang Yu stepped backward continuously, dodging each stab. Growing frustrated as every strike missed, Gao Yuan surged forward like a predator chasing its quarry, shifting from stabbing to slashing. Blade after blade narrowly missed Wang Yu's abdomen. How is he this fast? Gao Yuan broke out in sweat as his attacks failed again and again. He was starting to feel drained. Wang Yu's movements were clean, precise, impossibly quick. After years working as a mercenary and fighting countless skilled opponents, Gao Yuan had never encountered someone with such inhuman physical ability. No matter how skillfully Gao Yuan fought, he could not land a hit. Retreat crossed his mind. He could not win this fight. In a duel between two capable fighters, victory hinged on a split second. Gao Yuan's hesitation exposed a critical opening. Wang Yu spotted it instantly. He raised the baton and swung toward Gao Yuan's arm. Gao Yuan paled. He dared not absorb the heavy blow, halting his advance to dodge. The maneuver left his guard wide open. Wang Yu lunged forward. Boom. A powerful kick landed squarely in Gao Yuan's stomach. Uffed. Gao Yuan's eyes bulged, a rush of air forced from his lungs. He felt the unnatural power of the kick tear at his insides. The impact sent him flying several meters. Thud. He crashed heavily onto cobblestones, ribs fracturing from the blow. How can he only be a security guard? Rage roared inside Gao Yuan. Qining Ma must have misled him. Wang Yu fought with the speed and lethal precision of elite soldiers selected through rigorous national screening. Every strike was ruthless and dominant, overpowering Gao Yuan completely. In all his years as a mercenary, he had endured countless blows, yet never been crippled by a single kick like this. Contrary to Qining Ma's information, there was a monster at Su Wan's villa, and that monster was Wang Yu. Gasping for breath, Gao Yuan lifted his head, only to see Wang Yu closing in, rubber baton raised with cold indifference. Gao Yuan's pupils shrank to pinpricks. Fear threatened to stop his heart. I'll trade information for my life. Terror pushed Gao Yuan to betray Qining Ma, but Wang Yu's killing intent was already set. A baton crashed down onto Gao Yuan's skull. Boom. Gao Yuan lost consciousness instantly. Wang Yu had wondered if Gao Yuan had come for Su Wan, just as he first suspected, but he could not afford to leave loose ends. Boom. Boom. 2 more strikes finished Gao Yuan off for good. Wang Yu panted, sweat dripping down his face, and lit a cigarette. Fighting Gao Yuan made him realize his advantage lay in superior base stats. His ordinary strike carried the force of another person's finishing move. If he faced another Tier 1 fighter like Gao Yuan, the battle could end with both sides grievously injured. If he met a Tier 2 opponent, the outcome would be certain. Wang Yu saw no shame in winning through superior stats. Most craved the thrill of overwhelming power. Those without such advantages were forced to rely solely on technique. Speaking of which, Wang Yu exhaled smoke and addressed the system. I reached Tier 1 through gacha draws. How do other people advance? The system replied. Barring special circumstances, humans in this world cannot evolve. No ordinary person can become a Tier 1 human. That's wildly unfair. Wang Yu let out a bitter laugh. Monsters can grow stronger, yet humans cannot. Wang Yu suspected the special circumstances the system mentioned were connected to the mass disappearance of most people in Zhanghai City. He asked anyway, what counts as special circumstances? System, host must discover this on your own. Wang Yu asked. So does that mean I am currently the only Tier 1 human in this world? Yes, the system answered firmly. Wang Yu nodded. That put things into perspective. As long as Gao Yuan was not a Tier 1 human capable of further evolution, Wang Yu could take him down with a baton. Just then, the fog shifted in the 7 o'clock direction. A portly man emerged cautiously. Wang Yu turned to look. He recognized Li Yong. As a security guard, greeting residents was part of his job. Instinctively, he almost called out Boss Li, as he had every day before the crisis. He swallowed the words back. Titles meant nothing now. All those so-called bosses were just ordinary survivors struggling to stay alive. Li Yong spotted Wang Yu next, then saw Gao Yuan's bloodied body on the ground. His face paled immediately, and he spun to run. Yet desperation overrode his fear. He stopped and turned back. Li Yong's household had run out of bottled water right before the heavy fog descended. He had messaged dozens of people in the group, offering up to 10,000 for a single bottle, yet no one was willing to sell. He ventured outside to search for water. He dared not travel far, so he checked nearby villas. No one opened their doors, and the streets were empty. His throat burned with thirst. The heat was unbearable. Wang Yu was the first living person Li Yong had met all day. He hoped to beg for some water. Hello, my name is Li Yong. Li Yong bowed nervously, patting his pockets. I forgot my business card today. I'm truly sorry to trouble you. His heart hammered wildly. He had just watched Wang Yu kill a man. I'm Wang Yu said flatly. Ah, Mr. Wang. Relief washed over Li Yong. He was glad Wang Yu only attacked those who threatened him. You're so young, yet so capable. I'm more than a decade older than you, yet I don't have half your resolve. Wang Yu smiled faintly. You can tell that just by looking? It's impossible to miss your outstanding qualities. Li Yong glanced at Gao Yuan's blood-covered body, his eyelid twitching. I'm sure you've seen the news about toxic tap water. I've fallen on terrible luck. When the fog rolled in, we had no bottled water left. My wife and I are dying of thirst. Could you spare a few bottles of water? Li Yong quickly corrected himself. I won't ask for free water. I'll pay 20,000 per bottle. Does that work? Wang Yu raised an eyebrow. Water prices had skyrocketed to absurd levels. A single bottle cost as much as 2 to 3 months of his old security guard salary. I'm short of water too. Wang Yu declined gently. Li Yong stared, shocked. He never imagined Wang Yu would lack water. If you don't have water, you must plan to search for supplies. Li Yong refused to give up. He would pay any price, just for a sip of water. Wang Yu cut him off before he could continue. He cared nothing for money. That's enough, Wang Yu frowned. Message me if you change your mind. I'm in the homeowners group, Li Yong said reluctantly before leaving, planning to try his luck at the next villa. The boundary walls around Star Court villas were not high. An average person could climb over easily, but Li Yong was overweight and a smoker and drinker. I haven't seen many monsters. There are probably only 2 or 3 roaming Zone C. From now on, bold survivors will thrive. The timid ones will starve. Wang Yu watched Li Yong vanish into the black fog. Unlike Wang Yu, Li Yong and others lacked surveillance drones to scout ahead. That was why Wang Yu thought fortune favored the bold. As for why he did not share water with other survivors, despite his system space producing much water. Water was a finite consumable. A one-time handout would not solve their troubles. If he gave Li Yong water once, he might seek revenge later. It was better to refuse from the very start. These worst-case scenarios might never unfold, yet the logic kept him out of unnecessary conflict. Wang Yu recalled what he had been doing before Li Yong interrupted him. He bent down and retrieved Gao Yuan's phone from his pocket. He opened WeChat and spotted a contact marked boss. He pulled up their chat history. Chuning Ma had sent Gao Yuan a document. He's dug up every detail about me? Wang Yu opened the file, stunned. Did someone plant surveillance on me? The information was shockingly thorough. It even included trivial details, such as being fined 50 yuan at the factory. A realization hit him. So this man came to kill me, not Su Wan. Wang Yu sank into confusion, trying to figure out why. Wang Yu closed the file and went through Gao Yuan's phone for a while, yet found no information about his employer. Still, judging by his combat skills, he guessed Gao Yuan worked as a bodyguard. Those wealthy enough usually resided in districts A or B. This line of investigation was going nowhere. Even if he called Chuning Ma, the man would hardly volunteer any information. No matter who was behind the plot against him, whoever came for Wang Yu would face him. Task completed. Wang Yu sent a message to tease Chuning Ma via Gao Yuan's phone, then tossed the device aside and headed back to the villa. The moment he stepped through the door, Su Wan's voice rang out. Wang Yu. Wang Yu walked toward the sound. Su Wan had called for him multiple times already, searching the dining room and living room without a trace. Anxiety crept over her. You left without a word. What if monsters show up, or intruders break in? Su Wan was mid-complaint when Wang Yu emerged from the dark mist. She jumped in fright, and the towel wrapped around her body slipped off. Wang Yu's eyes widened. Ah! Su Wan cried out in embarrassment, scrambling to cover herself. You're mine. There's nothing you need to hide from me, Wang Yu said, attempting to sound experienced. Still, he stumbled awkwardly, and the two grew close with Su Wan's help. Wang Yu's first partner was a woman of Su Wan's caliber, and she had never shared herself with anyone before. He knew he had struck incredible luck. Elsewhere, Xiao Xiong received word from Chuning Ma and assumed Wang Yu was dead. He sent Su Wan a message. When she failed to reply, unease gnawed at him. He pulled up the surveillance feed from her villa and caught sight of a foot dangling on screen. Xiao Xiong stared rigidly at the monitor, his mind refusing to accept the scene unfolding before him. Ugh! He slumped back against the sofa, clutching his chest in agony. His bodyguard quickly summoned the medical team. Buzz. His phone vibrated on the sofa. The caller ID read, Chuning Ma. The sight nearly sent him into shock. Chuning Ma had rung repeatedly for half an hour before Xiao Xiong calmed his emotions enough to answer. Mr. Xiao, I don't mean to press you, but many people vanished. I'm on edge, and I hope I can head to your manor soon. I still cannot reach my daughter. I fear the worst. This disaster is far more terrifying than we initially anticipated. Xiao Xiong had no patience to discuss the end of the world with Chuning Ma. All he wanted was to see Wang Yu suffer a brutal, slow death. I want Wang Yu dead within 2 days. Xiao Xiong's voice was eerily flat despite his boiling fury. If he survives, your whole family will pay the price. Chuning Ma felt his blood run cold. He sensed overwhelming wrath beneath Xiao Xiong's quiet tone. Click. The line went dead. Chuning Ma stared at his phone in confusion. What did Xiao Xiong mean? He thought Gao Yuan had killed Wang Yu. Why demand another execution? Was he expecting Wang Yu to somehow resurrect only to be slain again? If Xiao Xiong speaks like this, Wang Yu must still be alive. Chuning Ma pieced things together. Xiao Xiong has learned the truth, which explains his rage. But how? Disbelief washed over him. Gao Yuan served 3 years in the Foreign Legion in France. Wang Yu is just an untrained security guard. Even with 9 lives, he should never stand a chance against Gao Yuan. Chen Yingma was insignificant to Xiao Xiong. Transporting him to the manor would be trivial. There was no reason for Xiao Xiong to lie. Between conflicting reports from Xiao Xiong and Gao Yuan, Chen Yingma chose to trust Xiao Xiong. Yet he had genuinely received a message supposedly sent by Gao Yuan. Gao Yuan owed him many favors and had no motive to lie for a stranger. Unless something terrible befell him, and Wang Yu seized his phone to send that text. Could that really be possible? 10 men like Wang Yu would struggle to defeat Gao Yuan. Perhaps Gao Yuan had failed to confirm the kill? Chen Yingma clung to that faint hope. Buzz. On the lawn outside Su Wan's villa, Gao Yuan's discarded phone vibrated amid dirt and grass. Inside the villa, the sofa swayed steadily. Chen Yingma called Gao Yuan more than 20 times. Hope faded, self-deception crumbled, and numbness settled in. He could no longer hold on to optimism. He had to accept the truth. Wang Yu had killed Gao Yuan. A mere security guard working a decorative post at Star Court had defeated a battle-hardened mercenary. It sounded utterly absurd, yet it had undeniably happened. He sank into a chair, his posture radiating helplessness. Gao Yuan was his greatest trump card. If even Gao Yuan failed, Chen Yingma could not fathom how to eliminate Wang Yu within 48 hours. Brother. Chen Yingma's younger sister, Chen Manyu, walked over with news. I overheard a property manager rallying security guards from District B and several homeowners to his side. Chen Manyu lived in District B and had been staying at Chen Yingma's home when the fog descended. Her hair clipped back with a sharp clip lent her a graceful aura. Chen Yingma's eyes lit up with a plan. Many hands make light work. If one man could not take down Wang Yu, he would gather a crowd. He could leverage information gaps to win over the property manager. Ordinary survivors relied solely on the internet for news. They had no idea official authorities were overwhelmed and countless people had disappeared. For the time being, most survivors would abide by long-held social rules, clinging to hope, still viewing powerful figures with deference. Chen Yingma believed his status would persuade these ordinary people to follow his orders. I have plenty of ways to dispose of a lowly security guard, he smiled, his gaze hardening with killing intent. He craved Wang Yu's destruction, both to fulfill Xiao Xiong's order and avenge Gao Yuan. Wang Yu would regret slaying his most trusted subordinate. It did not matter that Chen Yingma had struck first. People of standing owed no explanations to those beneath them. Achoo! Wang Yu sneezed and sipped his icy cola. Life felt wonderful. Someone must be bad-mouthing me. He wiped his nose with a tissue and turned to see Su Wan staring down at her phone with a troubled expression. Are you unsatisfied? Wang Yu raised an eyebrow. No. Su Wan turned the screen toward him, revealing Xiao Xiong's message. Xiao Xiong is still alive. That gave me a fright. Wang Yu chuckled. I thought you were unhappy with me. Like most men, he cared deeply about how his partner saw him. Those who remained indifferent were either uninterested in women or already accepted their limits. What worries you? Su Wan recalled their time together, still astounded. You're naturally gifted. If you harbor doubts, every other man might as well give up entirely. That's suicide, Wang Yu corrected loudly. Su Wan giggled. You always come out with such funny internet phrases. Wang Yu wrapped an arm around her shoulders, stroking her skin. She rolled her eyes playfully. I watch short videos on my phone too, you know. Wang Yu laughed. People tended to imagine beautiful women existed outside ordinary routines, as if they never ate or rested. Xiao Xiong is obsessed with you. Visibility is terrible in this fog. Flying a helicopter right now is practically blind navigation. Wang Yu looked surprised. The risk of an accident is 100,000 times higher than normal. It's so dangerous. Yet he still wants to come fetch you. His subordinates would bear all the risk. He wouldn't be foolish enough to come himself. Su Wan sighed when speaking of Xiao Xiong. He owns a security firm and a licensed shooting range. I once took photos there for fun. He can easily get access to real firearms. Su Wan's brows drew tight. He's a possessive extremist. I'm afraid once he finds out about us, he'll send gunmen to hunt us down. Wang Yu grew solemn. His current abilities were nowhere near fast enough to dodge bullets, let alone withstand gunfire. Against trained shooters, his odds were slim. Fortunately, the thick fog blocked Xiao Xiong's surveillance. Uncertain about the mist's properties, Xiao Xiong would hesitate to send men carelessly. Gunmen were rare resources in this ruined world. Xiao Xiong would not waste them on a risky mission. This sense of being threatened weighed heavily on him. He now had one more reason to grow stronger. Wang Yu lit a cigarette to calm his rising irritation. Are you afraid Xiao Xiong will come for us? Su Wan noticed the unease on his face. Of course I'm afraid. Xiao Xiong has spent decades building power, while I've only just begun. He could overpower me as easily as an adult against a child. But you ask if I'll run? Never. Wang Yu thought of his system and smiled confidently. I have solid foundations now. I truly believe I can stand against Xiao Xiong. I love how confident you are, Su Wan mused. I could send messages to stall Xiao Xiong. It might take him a long while to learn about us. You think you can fool him that easily? Wang Yu pinched her chin, amused by her naivety. Gunmen may not track us anytime soon. But do you think Xiao Xiong has no way of knowing what's happening here? Your villa is covered in surveillance cameras. Do you suppose he isn't watching the feeds, seeing us together? Su Wan had completely forgotten about the cameras. Shock widened her eyes, and she instinctively clung tightly to Wang Yu, seeking safety in his embrace. Thankfully, the fog obscures the footage. He can only catch glimpses of your feet. Otherwise, we would have been broadcast live for him to watch. Wang Yu glanced at the camera angles and breathed a quiet sigh of relief. Su Wan could hardly believe how calm he remained, even with danger looming so close. Still, there was no use dwelling on fear. What would happen would happen. She chose to trust Wang Yu. Time and again, he had proven himself far more capable than an average security guard. If Xiao Xiong moved against them, she refused to believe Wang Yu would lose. He must be furious watching those surveillance clips, Su Wan smirked. It would drive him to the brink. What a shame. He can only see my feet. Wait, are you disappointed about that? Wang Yu stared at her in disbelief. Doesn't it feel thrilling? Su Wan smiled seductively. Wang Yu shook his head with a laugh. I spent years trapped as a kept woman, stifled. I thought this would be my life forever. I never imagined I'd get to enrage Xiao Xiong. Su Wan wrapped her arms around his neck. Come on, let's take a shower together. Wang Yu did not refuse. He lifted Su Wan into his arms and carried her past every surveillance camera around the villa, covering each lens afterward. He spared the cameras from destruction, leaving them intact so Xiao Xiong could keep listening to sounds from the house. Wang Yu did not know Xiao Xiong stared relentlessly at the surveillance feed, hoping to spot Su Wan. The fog distorted all clear images, leaving him straining his bloodshot eyes in vain. He secretly hoped Wang Yu would step into camera view. His wish came true, yet not in the way he expected. Wang Yu carried Su Wan past every lens, almost as if parading his prize, openly taunting Xiao Xiong from afar. He's nothing but a useless failure who couldn't even pass university. Enraged, Xiao Xiong hurled his phone to the ground. His blood pressure spiked, and medical monitoring equipment beside him blared urgent alarms. Meanwhile, Li Yong dragged himself home. Seeing his disheveled appearance, his wife knew his search had yielded nothing. His wife was Cheng Yu. They were an older man with a younger spouse. Cheng Yu used to be a flight attendant and met Li Yong in first class. She married him partly for her youth and looks, and partly for her knack for soothing his moods. She maintained Li Yong's reputation and connections within Star Court, gifting homemade desserts and local treats to other residents' wives, and distributing red envelopes to security staff and cleaners during festivals. She enjoyed a fine reputation in District C. You've worked hard, dear. Cheng Yu handed him a wet wipe. Wipe off your sweat. I knocked on nearly every villa door in District C. No one answered. I'm certain some people hid inside and pretended not to be home. Li Yong scrubbed his face roughly and grumbled. Everyone only cares about themselves. They called me Manager Li so warmly in ordinary times, yet none are willing to help now. Cheng Yu listened to his complaints silently, inwardly sighing. Their home had run out of drinking water, and Li Yong had returned empty-handed. Both had endured thirst for hours. Their lips were dry and cracked. Anxiety frayed their nerves, compounded by the unknown threats lurking within the fog. Li Yong dabbed the wipe against his lips for moisture. Even with air conditioning running, restlessness made him swelter. After a long pause, an idea struck him as he looked at Cheng Yu. Do you know the resident of Villa C5? Su Wan. Cheng Yu's eyes lit up. I once ran into her and gave her a box of homemade cookies. I still have her WeChat contact. Li Yong had heard tales of Su Wan's beauty. So she lives in C5. The young man I met there must be connected to her. Though I'm confused. Rumor says she's supported by a mysterious wealthy man who bought that villa for her. The man I saw at C5 was young, tall and handsome, and moved with frightening speed. He didn't seem like that wealthy patron. Cheng Yu shook her head. She had met countless rich men. Wealthy men might be tall, handsome, or young, yet rarely all three, much less possess formidable fighting skills. Such men existed only in imagination. Whoever he is, if he stays at C5, he must have some link to Su Wan. Li Yong pinned his hopes on Cheng Yu. You need to go to Villa C5. Try appealing to our old acquaintance. See if you can get some water. Me? Cheng Yu looked shocked. Bottled water was priceless right now. Many close relatives would be turned away if they asked for water. She feared she would be rejected outright. On top of that, heading outside was dangerous. She hesitated, terrified to leave the villa. I walked all across District C and returned safely. The outside isn't as perilous as you think. Li Yong omitted what he had witnessed of Wang Yu's violence, not wanting to terrify her. We can't carry on like this. We'll die of thirst. You're our only hope now. Cheng Yu's throat burned with dryness. She reluctantly nodded. Speak to Suwon first. If that fails, try talking nicely to the man, Li Yong instructed. Fix your makeup, put on perfume, and wear your prettiest outfit. Men tend to be more receptive to women, especially beautiful women. Generally quite accommodating. All right. Cheng Yu headed upstairs to pack her things. Wang Yu's greatest advantage was his youth and stamina. He washed his hands with mineral water and muttered to himself. Women are draining. I feel worn out. He walked out into the living room, picked up an apple from the fruit platter, and took a bite. Crunch. Crisp and juicy. Wang Yu's mind went blank as he bit into the apple again and again. Suddenly, the doorbell chimed. Who would be polite enough to ring a doorbell in this apocalyptic world? Wang Yu walked to the entrance and activated the video doorbell. Outside Unit C5 stood a woman in a purple strapless wrap dress. Most of her wavy long hair fell over one shoulder. Purple really suits her, Wang Yu thought, confused about why Miss Chung would dress like this to come to C5. He immediately thought of Cheng Yu's husband, Li Yong. It dawned on him. This was likely a honey trap set up by Li Yong, all just to get some drinking water. Wang Yu had a good impression of Cheng Yu. Once, during the Lunar New Year, she drove home in her BMW. When he greeted her, she gave him a 100 yuan red envelope. That day, Wang Yu treated himself to a 25 yuan pork knuckle rice meal. Last Dragon Boat Festival, she saw him and handed over 2 zongzi, one sweet and one salty. He ate both, still unable to settle the age-old debate. Were sweet zongzi better or salty ones? Beep. Wang Yu unlocked the door remotely. Cheng Yu pushed open the gate and stepped onto the cobblestone path. Thick black fog blocked her view, so she failed to notice a corpse lying on the lawn beside her. But she caught a whiff of blood. Instinctively, she shrank back. Cheng Yu cautiously walked toward the villa entrance and found the door ajar. A tall, handsome man stood in the doorway. Her eyes widened in surprise. She knew this man. Wang Yu, the security guard for Tianqing Court Zone C. Wang Yu's appearance fit perfectly with her taste. Every time she drove home in the past, she would check to see if he was on duty and took every chance to treat him kindly. Could the person my husband mentioned really be him? Cheng Yu was utterly shocked. She never imagined Wang Yu was not only handsome, but also reliable enough for Li Yong to regard him as their hope for survival. Miss Chung. Wang Yu smiled. You don't need to be so formal. Cheng Yu quickly replied. Just call me by my name, Cheng Yu. I'm Wang Yu. I remember you. You helped me move my car once. I wonder, has my husband come here? Have you met him? I have. Cheng Yu confirmed Wang Yu was the man Li Yong spoke of. She hesitated for a few seconds before speaking. I originally came looking for Suwon. Our home has run out of water. I hope to borrow some from her. Even just one bottle would help. Before she finished speaking, Cheng Yu caught the rich scent of shampoo and body wash on Wang Yu. She used the same products, so she instantly realized he had recently bathed. You've had a shower? Cheng Yu exclaimed. Wang Yu tilted his head, confused. Is taking a shower against the rules? No, Cheng Yu replied. She automatically assumed he had used tap water. Drinking water was extremely scarce. Everyone rationed their supplies carefully. No one would be reckless enough to waste drinking water for bathing. Haven't you seen the news? She warned him earnestly. The tap water is toxic. Experts say even boiling it or filtering it with high-end purifiers won't make it safe to drink. Many people online worry toxins can be absorbed through the skin, so they recommend avoiding contact entirely. If you bathe in tap water, you might get sick. Should you rinse off with mineral water to remedy it? You're overreacting. I thought showering was illegal for a second. Wang Yu chuckled. I bathe using mineral water. Just like you said, I'm concerned about skin absorption of toxins from tap water. That's why I wash my hands with mineral water too. Cheng Yu fell silent, her mouth agape. She was stunned at the thought of him wasting precious drinking water to bathe. You even use drinking water just to wash your hands. Su Wan is asleep. Wang Yu turned and stepped into the black fog. Wait here. I'll get you some water. Bitterness welled up inside Cheng Yu. They lived under the same harsh circumstances, yet their fates could not be more different. Some struggled desperately for every drop of water, while others squandered it freely. She and Li Yong were on the brink of dehydration and forced to resort to desperate tactics. Yet Wang Yu could afford such luxury. Judging by his casual tone, he probably even used drinking water to flush the toilet. Here you go. Wang Yu handed her a bag filled with water bottles. When Cheng Yu saw multiple bottles of mineral water inside, she was overwhelmed. This is far too much. Take it, Wang Yu said nonchalantly. Think of it as thanks for all your kindness to me in the past. He remembered favors as clearly as he remembered grudges. Chengyu was one of the few residents of Tianqing Court who had treated him well. Giving her some water was the least he could do. Besides, the system could generate endless supplies in an instant. Even if he gave her several more bags, it would cost him nothing. It was like tossing loose change to a wealthy person. That said, Wang Yu believed in helping people through emergencies, not supporting those who relied on constant handouts. If Cheng Yu came begging for water again next time, she would have to offer something in return. Thank you. Cheng Yu desperately needed the water and chose not to decline. Gratitude shone sincerely in her eyes. I'll head back now. Wang Yu watched her figure vanish into the black fog. Not bad, he thought. Having worked as security, he could tell she was a former flight attendant from her graceful bearing. When he fetched the water earlier, he noticed supplies in the storage room were running low. He returned and opened his system storage. Bottles of mineral water tumbled out like sand from a dump truck, piling high across the floor until the storage room was filled to capacity. This mountain of water was only a tiny fraction of what he kept in the system space. Every morning when he woke up, he received 45 tons of fresh water. I have more than I could ever use. Wang Yu filled a sack to restock the refrigerator and water supplies across the ground floor. Back at Cheng Yu's home, she returned safely. When Li Yong spotted the bag of water, he lit up with joy and quickly snatched it away, twisting open a bottle and drinking. Slow down. Cheng Yu tried to warn him to sip carefully and not drain it all at once. But Li Yong chugged the entire bottle in 3 seconds, still unsatisfied. He immediately opened a second one. Cheng Yu sighed quietly. She dared not scold him. Picking a fight in such desperate times would only spark an argument. There were only 7 bottles in total. She had already made a plan. Until they found a new water source, the two of them would share 1 bottle per day. Even though she was parched, she only drank a third of 1 bottle as soon as she got home. If they wasted water like Li Yong was doing, they would soon be scrambling desperately for every drop again. Darling, after finishing 2 bottles, Li Yong relaxed and smiled. I knew I could count on you. I just got lucky. The man we needed is someone I know well, the community security guard, Cheng Yu explained. I gave him red envelopes, zongzi and mooncakes during festivals. He gave me the water to repay my past kindness. I used to think there was no point being polite to security staff and cleaners, a waste of effort. I never expected small kindnesses would bear fruit when we needed it most, Li Yong mused. Cheng Yu had never planned for this. People from wealthy families like hers never imagined a security guard could offer vital help in a crisis. She treated Wang Yu kindly for 2 reasons. He was handsome, and maintaining a good relationship meant having someone to assist with small tasks like moving her car whenever she needed convenience. No one could have guessed that a simple security guard would be so well prepared amid everyone's suffering. The worse the world becomes, the more effortlessly he seems to survive, Cheng Yu said with admiration. Li Yong suddenly shouted in shock. What? He stared at her. He's a security guard? I thought you knew. Cheng Yu nodded in confusion. A security guard? Li Yong struggled to accept it, suspicion clouding his face. How can a security guard carry such an imposing aura? He's staying at Suwan's place. Could you have misidentified him? Or is he lying about his job? He's worked security at Tianqing Court for 2 or 3 years. I see him every day coming and going. He helped me free my car when I got stuck last time. Cheng Yu felt a flicker of anger, as if Li Yong thought she was foolish enough to mistake someone's identity. Convinced by her consistent account, Li Yong had to face the truth. He was stunned that a security guard could be so formidable. He had killed without fear, ignoring the risks from the mysterious powerful figure backing Suwan, and dared to move into her villa. Li Yong wondered if Tianqing Court had impossibly high hiring standards for security, or if Wang Yu had been hiding extraordinary abilities all these years. What's his name? Li Yong asked. Wang Yu. Message the property management to get Wang Yu's WeChat ID, Li Yong said shrewdly. Add him and keep in touch. We'll rely on his help many times in the future. All right, Cheng Yu agreed. Privately, she was far less optimistic than her husband. When Wang Yu handed over the water, his attitude made it clear he had settled the debt of gratitude and wanted no further entanglements. If he hoped to build a connection, he would have asked for her contact information or hinted at future interaction. She suspected if she reached out again, Wang Yu would ignore her. Night fell soon after. The thick black fog blurred the line between day and night. The world only grew darker and more eerie after sunset. At the administration office of Tianqing Court Zone B, property manager Zhang Ming had gathered 18 survivors. Initially, morale was high. Under his leadership, everyone pooled resources and scavenged supplies. They successfully seized a large convenience store and a water station outside Zone B, securing supplies for the days ahead. Their joy did not last long. Disaster struck. 6 people encountered a humanoid monster while transporting goods. It resembled a ragged garbage collector with broken yellowed teeth, matted hair, and swarms of flies buzzing around its body. The moment they crossed paths, the creature spewed out countless maggots. Terrified, the 6 survivors dropped their supplies and fled in all directions. The maggots were fast and relentless. Only one person escaped alive. The other 5 became prey. The survivor remained traumatized, huddled in a corner muttering in terror and screaming periodically. The others listened to his account, consumed by fear. The previous hopeful atmosphere vanished completely, replaced by suffocating despair hanging over the management office. Chen Yingma arrived and learned about Zhang Ming's group's misfortune. A thought crossed his mind. This was perfect timing. When people were scared and lost, they were easy to manipulate. Chen Yingma would act like a beacon, guiding them wherever he wished. "I am Chen Yingma from Hongxing Fund," he said calmly to Zhang Ming and the others, spinning promises. "In 2 days, I will travel to a private manor. It functions as a shelter. There will be security guards, stable electricity, and running water." At the mention of a shelter, the dejected crowd lit up, hope igniting in their eyes. Every single one of them longed to escape to safety, away from the terrifying monsters. "Mr. Chun, please, could you take us with you to the shelter?" Zhang Ming spoke for the group. "We trust you." He gestured for the others to speak. "We will follow every order you give." "Yes, please." The others quickly chimed in, forcing ingratiating smiles. "Do us this kindness, Mr. Chun. Saving a life brings great merit. We will obey you fully." "That is exactly why I came. The manor needs laborers for chores," Chen Yingma said. The crowd fell silent instantly. "But there is a task I need your help with first." He paused deliberately, stoking their anticipation. Eager for a spot in the shelter, they pounded their chests, urging him to explain the task. They swore they would risk everything to complete it. "In Unit C5 lives a man named Wang Yu. He has offended the manor's owner. Go and capture him. When the manor's helicopter arrives, we will bring him along with us," Chen Yingma said solemnly. "Of course, no problem at all." Everyone present thought capturing a single man would be simple. They did not spare a thought for what fate awaited Wang Yu after being seized. The needs of the group outweighed the fate of one individual. An unspoken rule that had existed for centuries. Sacrificing one person to save more than a dozen of them. They told themselves it was a worthy trade. "It will be dark tonight, and we do not know if that monster still roams Zone B," Zhang Ming suggested. "Let us rest until tomorrow. We can head to Zone C in daylight, when visibility is better. What do you say?" Chen Yingma agreed, and the rest had no objections. 13 of us working together. Even if Wang Yu were twice as strong, he cannot resist us all, Chen Yingma thought coldly. His plan was cunning. He knew if he admitted he wanted Wang Yu dead, Zhang Ming's group would grow frightened and back out. So he only told them to capture him. The scheme would achieve 2 goals. First, he would use these survivors to confront Wang Yu and bear the risk. Second, once they brought Wang Yu before him, he would execute the man in front of everyone to instill fear. After that, no one would dare question any of Chen Yingma's decisions. The night passed without incident. Wang Yu stayed up late the previous night playing Elden Ring on Su Wan's high-end gaming computer. He slept in until 11 o'clock the next morning. Su Wan usually woke early for morning runs, but her muscles were sore today, so she settled for yoga instead. She did not intend to rely on Wang Yu for everything. Every day, she fetched him water and prepared breakfast. Breakfast consisted of eggs, milk, and bread. Simple, yet nutritious, exactly what Wang Yu needed to regain his strength. Wang Yu finished his egg and suddenly remembered he had not completed his daily draw. He brushed crumbs from his hands and activated the system. Equipment reward. Sky Crossbow comes with 10 retrievable bolts. Supports single shots and continuous fire. Power comparable to bullets. Wang Yu's face lit up with delight as he read the notification. Excellent reward. A long-range weapon like the Sky Crossbow was far superior to close combat tools such as the rubber baton. Fighting multiple enemies up close meant brutal, risky melee combat. A ranged weapon gave him flexibility. He could take down targets from afar, or hide within the black fog to launch sneak attacks alongside his surveillance drones. Best of all, his Special Forces combat training included marksmanship. He could wield the crossbow effortlessly. "Darling, finished your breakfast?" Su Wan walked over with her hair tied into a ponytail. Her cheeks were flushed from yoga. "It's just a light meal. I'll be hungry again by lunchtime anyway," Wang Yu said. He glanced at her fitted workout clothes. He had seen many residents in yoga pants during his shifts as security and always wondered about their build. Today he finally got a clear look. "It's almost noon already. This counts as lunch," Su-won was mid-sentence when Won Yu playfully reached toward her. She let out a small surprised cry. You're mischievous. Su-won shot him a bright-eyed glance. Don't blame me. You distracted me first, Won Yu smiled. He had to admit Su-won had a wonderful figure. Su-won hurried upstairs. I'm going to change clothes. I think if I stay here any longer, something will happen. Won Yu laughed to himself. She was still worn out from the previous day's events and grew shy easily. Suddenly, his phone vibrated violently on the table. The surveillance drone feed flashed a red warning, alerting him to intruders. He pulled up the live footage. The drones automatically tracked the trespassers. On screen, he watched Zhang Ming lead 12 people clumsily climbing over the villa's perimeter wall into the courtyard. Their hostile intent was obvious. 13 people in total. 3 carried coils of rope, while the rest wielded rubber batons, anti-riot forks and shields. Why are they carrying rope and forks? Won Yu frowned. Are they here to capture someone? Su-won. That does not seem right. They would not need such a large group for her. They have come for me. A cold glint entered Won Yu's eyes. He resolved to leave one survivor alive to find out who wanted him dead so badly. One attacker had come yesterday and lost his life before he could interrogate them. Now a whole mob arrived. Won Yu opened the door and stepped into the black fog. Inside the courtyard, Zhang Ming gathered his group for final instructions. Strike without hesitation once we see him, Zhang Ming said gravely. Mr. Chen warned us Won Yu is fierce and extremely capable of fighting. Some of us will likely get hurt. Do not panic. Stay organized. Even if casualties occur, we must work together to restrain Won Yu first. The group nodded. Since Chen Ingma had issued such a serious warning and assembled such a large team, Won Yu must be formidable. But one man, no matter how skilled, could never defeat a mob. English translation, generally quite accommodating. All right. Cheng Yu headed upstairs to pack her things. Won Yu's greatest advantage lay in his youth and endurance. He washed his hands with mineral water and muttered to himself. Dealing with others wears you out completely. He walked out into the living room, picked up an apple from the fruit platter, and took a bite. Crunch. It was crisp and juicy. Won Yu zoned out, biting the apple repeatedly. Suddenly, the doorbell chimed. Who would bother ringing a doorbell amid this apocalyptic haze? Won Yu walked to the entrance and activated the video doorbell. Outside Unit C5 stood a woman in a purple strapless wrap dress. Most of her wavy long hair cascaded over one shoulder. Purple really brings out her charm, Won Yu murmured. Confused why Miss Chung would dress like this to visit C5. His thoughts turned at once to Chung Yu's husband, Li Yong. It dawned on him. Li Yong must have sent her as bait, all for a chance to get drinking water. Won Yu thought well of Chung Yu. Once during the Lunar New Year, she drove home in her BMW. When he greeted her, she handed him a 100 yuan red envelope. That day, Won Yu treated himself to a 25 yuan pork knuckle rice set. Last Dragon Boat Festival, she spotted him and gave him 2 zongzi, one sweet, one salty. He ate both, still unable to settle the eternal question, which tasted better, sweet zongzi or salty ones. Beep. Won Yu unlocked the gate remotely. Cheng Yu pushed through the entrance and stepped onto the cobblestone path. Thick black fog obscured her vision, so she failed to notice a corpse lying on the adjacent lawn. But the stench of blood drifted toward her, making her shrink back instinctively. Cheng Yu carefully approached the villa and found the front door standing open. A tall, handsome man stood in the doorway. Her eyes widened in shock. She knew this man. Wang Yu, security guard for Zone C of Tianqing Court. Wang Yu's looks matched her ideal type. Every time she drove home in the past, she would check if he was on duty, and seized opportunities to treat him kindly. Could the man my husband spoke of really be him? Cheng Yu was stunned. She never imagined Wang Yu was not just handsome, but dependable enough that Li Yong regarded him as their last hope for survival. Miss Chung. Wang Yu smiled. There's no need to be so formal, Cheng Yu said quickly. Just call me by my name, Cheng Yu. I'm Wang Yu. I remember you. You helped me move my car once. I wonder, my husband came here. Have you met him? I have. Cheng Yu confirmed Wang Yu was the person Li Yong mentioned. She hesitated several seconds before speaking. I originally came to look for Su-won. Our home has run out of water, and I hope to borrow some from her. Even one bottle would tide us over. Before she finished speaking, Cheng Yu caught the rich aroma of shampoo and body wash on Wang Yu. She used the same products, so she instantly realized he had recently bathed. You've taken a shower? Cheng Yu blurted out in surprise. Wang Yu tilted his head, puzzled. Is taking a shower against the rules? No, Cheng Yu replied. She automatically assumed he had used tap water. Drinking water was extremely scarce. Everyone rationed supplies carefully. No one would recklessly waste potable water for bathing. Haven't you seen the news? She warned sincerely. The tap water is toxic. Experts say even boiling it or filtering it with premium purifiers cannot make it safe to drink. Many people online fear toxins can be absorbed through skin contact, so they recommend avoiding touching it entirely. If you bathed in tap water, you might fall ill. Should you rinse yourself with mineral water to counteract it? You're overreacting. I briefly thought showering had been outlawed. Wang Yu chuckled. I bathe with mineral water. Just as you said, I worry about skin absorption of toxins from tap water. That's why I wash my hands with mineral water as well. Cheng Yu fell silent, her mouth hanging open. She was utterly shocked he would waste precious drinking water just to bathe. You even use drinking water merely to wash your hands. Su Wan is asleep. Wang Yu turned and stepped into the black fog. Wait here. I'll fetch you some water. Bitterness rose in Cheng Yu's heart. They existed under identical brutal conditions, yet their circumstances could not be more different. Some struggled desperately for every drop of water, while others squandered it freely. She and Li Yong teetered on the edge of dehydration and had to resort to desperate schemes, yet Wang Yu could afford such extravagance. Judging by his casual tone, he probably even used drinking water to flush the toilet. Here you go. Wang Yu handed her a sack filled with bottles of water. When Cheng Yu saw multiple bottles of mineral water inside, she was overwhelmed. This is far too much. Keep it, Wang Yu said indifferently. Consider it repayment for all your kindness toward me before. He remembered favors just as clearly as slights. Cheng Yu was among the few residents of Tianqing Court who had treated him well. Giving her some water was no trouble at all. Moreover, the system could generate endless supplies in mere seconds. Even if he handed over several more sacks, it would cost him nothing. It was like tossing pocket change to a wealthy man. That said, Wang Yu believed in helping people through emergencies, not sustaining those who relied on constant handouts. If Cheng Yu came begging for water again next time, she would have to offer something in exchange. Thank you. Cheng Yu desperately needed the water and chose not to decline. Sincere gratitude shone in her eyes. I'll head back now. Wang Yu watched her figure vanish into the black fog. No question about it, former flight attendants carry themselves with such grace. Earlier, when he fetched the water, he noticed stocks in the storage room were low. He returned and opened his system storage. Bottles of mineral water tumbled out like sand from a dump truck, piling up until the storage room was filled to the brim. This mountain of water was only a tiny fraction of the reserves held inside his system space. Every time he woke up each morning, he received 45 tons of water. I have far more than I could ever consume. Wang Yu filled another sack to restock the refrigerator and water reserves across the ground floor. Back at Cheng Yu's residence, she returned safely. When Li Yong spotted the sack of water, he broke into a grin and quickly snatched it away, twisting open a bottle to drink. Slow down. Cheng Yu tried to urge him to sip carefully instead of draining it all at once. But Li Yong chugged the whole bottle in 3 seconds, still unsatisfied. He immediately opened a second bottle. Cheng Yu sighed quietly. She dared not reprimand him. Picking an argument in such desperate times would only trigger conflict. There were only 7 bottles total. She had already made a plan. Until they found a new water source, the two of them would share 1 bottle per day. Even though she was parched, she only drank a third of 1 bottle as soon as she arrived home. If they wasted water as recklessly as Li Yong was doing, they would soon be scrambling desperately for every drop again. Darling, after finishing 2 bottles, Li Yong relaxed and smiled. I knew I could count on you. I simply got lucky. The man we need is someone I know well, the community security guard, Cheng Yu explained. I gave him red envelopes, zongzi and mooncakes during festivals. He gave me this water to repay my past kindness. I once thought there was no point being polite to security staff and cleaners, a waste of effort. I never expected small acts of goodwill would bear fruit when we needed it most, Li Yong reflected. Cheng Yu had never planned for such an outcome. Wealthy families like hers never imagined a security guard could offer critical aid during a crisis. She treated Wang Yu kindly for 2 reasons. He was handsome, and maintaining a friendly relationship meant having someone available to assist with minor tasks such as moving her car whenever she needed convenience. No one could have guessed a regular security guard would be so well prepared amid everyone's suffering. The worse the world grows, the more effortlessly he seems to survive, Cheng Yu said with admiration. Li Yong suddenly shouted in shock. What? He stared at her. He's a security guard? I thought you already knew. Cheng Yu nodded in confusion. A security guard? Li Yong struggled to accept the truth, suspicion lingering in his eyes. How can a security guard command such imposing presence? He's staying at Su Wan's villa. Could you have misidentified him? Or is he lying about working security? He served as security at Tianqing Court for 2 or 3 years. I see him every day coming and going. He helped me free my trapped car last time. Cheng Yu felt a flicker of irritation. as if Li Yong believed she was foolish enough to mistake someone's identity. Convinced by her consistent account, Li Yong had to face reality. He was stunned that a security guard could be so formidable. Wang Yu had killed without hesitation, ignoring the risks stemming from the mysterious, powerful figure backing Su Wan, and dared to move into her villa. Li Yong wondered if Tianqing Court had impossibly strict hiring requirements for security, or if Wang Yu had been hiding extraordinary abilities all along. "What's his name?" Li Yong asked. "Wang Yu." "Message property management to get Wang Yu's WeChat ID," Li Yong said shrewdly. "Add him and stay in contact. We will rely on his help countless times in the future." "All right," Cheng Yu agreed. Privately, she was far less optimistic than her husband. When Wang Yu handed over the water, his attitude made it clear he had settled the debt of gratitude and sought no further entanglements. If he hoped to build a connection, he would have asked for her contact information or hinted at future interaction. She suspected if she reached out again, Wang Yu would ignore her. Night fell soon afterward. The thick black fog blurred the boundary between day and night. The world only turned darker and more eerie once dusk arrived. At the administration office of Tianqing Court Zone B, property manager Zhang Ming had gathered 18 survivors. At first, morale remained high. Under his leadership, everyone pooled resources and set out to scavenge supplies. They successfully seized a large convenience store and a water station outside Zone B, securing provisions for the days ahead. Their joy did not last long. Disaster arrived. 6 survivors encountered a humanoid monster while transporting supplies. It resembled a ragged garbage collector with broken yellowed teeth, matted hair, and swarms of flies circling its body. The moment they crossed paths, the creature spewed countless maggots. Terrified, the 6 survivors dropped their supplies and fled in all directions. The maggots moved fast and relentlessly. Only one person escaped alive. The other 5 became prey. The survivor remained traumatized, huddled in a corner muttering in terror and screaming periodically. The others listened to his account, consumed by fear. The previous hopeful atmosphere vanished completely, replaced by suffocating despair hanging over the management office. Chen Ma arrived and learned about Zhang Ming's group's misfortune. A thought crossed his mind. This was perfect timing. When people were scared and adrift, they were easy to manipulate. Chen Ma would act as a beacon, guiding them wherever he desired. "I am Chen Ma from Hongxing Fund," he said calmly to Zhang Ming and the others, spinning promises. "In 2 days, I will travel to a private manor. It operates as a shelter. There will be armed security and steady electricity and running water." At the mention of a shelter, the dejected crowd lit up, hope igniting in their eyes. Every single one of them longed to escape to safety, far from the terrifying monsters. "Mr. Chun, please, could you take us with you to the shelter?" Zhang Ming spoke for the group. "We trust you." He gestured for the others to speak. "We will follow every order you give." "Yes, please." The others quickly chimed in, forcing ingratiating smiles. "Do us this kindness, Mr. Chun. Saving a life brings immense merit. We will obey you completely." "That is exactly why I came. The manor needs laborers to complete chores," Chen Ma said. The crowd fell silent instantly. "But there is a task I need your help with first." He paused deliberately, stoking their anticipation. Eager for a spot within the shelter, they pounded their chests, urging him to explain the task. They swore they would risk everything to finish it. "In Unit C5 lives a man named Wang Yu. He has offended the manor's owner. Go and capture him. When the manor's helicopter arrives, we will bring him along with us," Chen Ma said solemnly. Of course, no problem at all. Everyone present thought capturing a single man would be simple. They did not spare a thought for what fate awaited Wang Yu after being seized. The needs of the group outweighed the fate of one individual, an unspoken rule that had stood for centuries. Sacrificing one person to save more than a dozen of them. They told themselves it was a worthy trade. "It will be dark tonight, and we do not know if that monster still roams Zone B," Zhang Ming suggested. "Let us rest until tomorrow. We can head to Zone C in daylight, when visibility improves." "What do you think?" Chen Ma agreed, and the rest had no objections. 13 of us working together. Even if Wang Yu were twice as strong, he cannot resist us all, Chen Ma thought coldly. His plan was cunning. He knew if he admitted he intended to kill Wang Yu, Zhang Ming's group would grow frightened and back out. So he only told them to capture him. The scheme would achieve 2 goals. First, he would use these survivors to confront Wang Yu and bear all the risk. Second, once they brought Wang Yu before him, he would execute the man in front of everyone to instill fear. After that, no one would dare question any of Chen Ma's decisions. The night passed without incident. Wang Yu stayed up late the previous night playing Elden Ring on Su Wan's high-end gaming computer. He slept in until 11 o'clock the next morning. Suwon usually woke early for morning runs, but her muscles were sore today, so she settled for yoga instead. She had no intention of relying on Wang Yu for everything. Each day, she fetched him water and prepared breakfast. Breakfast consisted of eggs, milk, and bread. Simple, yet nutritious, exactly what Wang Yu needed to regain his strength. Wang Yu finished his egg and suddenly remembered he had not completed his daily system draw. He brushed crumbs from his hands and activated the system. Equipment reward. Sky Crossbow comes with 10 retrievable bolts. Supports single shots and continuous fire. Power comparable to bullets. Wang Yu's face lit up with delight as he read the notification. Excellent reward. A long-range weapon like the Sky Crossbow was far superior to close combat tools such as the rubber baton. Fighting multiple enemies up close meant brutal, risky melee combat. A ranged weapon granted him flexibility. He could take down targets from afar, or hide within the black fog to launch sneak attacks alongside his surveillance drones. Best of all, his Special Forces combat training included marksmanship. He could wield the crossbow effortlessly. Darling, finished your breakfast? Suwon walked over with her hair tied into a ponytail. Her cheeks were flushed from yoga. It's just a light meal. I'll grow hungry again by lunchtime anyway, Wang Yu said. He glanced at her fitted workout clothes. He had seen many residents wearing athletic wear during his security shifts and often wondered about their physique. Today he finally got a clear look. It's almost noon already. This counts as lunch. Suwon was mid-sentence when Wang Yu reached out toward her playfully. She let out a small surprised cry. You're mischievous. Suwon shot him a bright-eyed glance. Don't blame me. You distracted me first, Wang Yu smiled. He had to admit Suwon had a wonderful figure. Suwon hurried upstairs. I'm going to change clothes. I think if I stay here any longer, trouble will follow. Wang Yu laughed to himself. She was still worn out from the previous day and grew shy easily. Suddenly, his phone vibrated violently on the table. The surveillance drone feed flashed a red warning, alerting him to intruders. He pulled up the live footage. The drones automatically tracked the trespassers. On screen, he watched Zhang Ming lead 12 people clumsily climbing over the villa's perimeter wall into the courtyard. Their hostile intent was obvious. 13 people in total. 3 carried coils of rope, while the rest wielded rubber batons, anti-riot forks and shields. Why are they carrying rope and forks? Wang Yu frowned. Are they here to capture someone? Suwon. That does not seem right. They would not need such a large group for her. They have come for me. A cold glint entered Wang Yu's eyes. He resolved to leave one survivor alive to find out who wanted him dead so badly. One attacker had come yesterday and lost his life before he could interrogate them. Now a whole mob arrived. Wang Yu opened the door and stepped into the black fog. Inside the courtyard, Zhang Ming gathered his group for final instructions. Strike without hesitation once we see him, Zhang Ming said gravely. Mr. Chen warned us Wang Yu is fierce and extremely capable of fighting. Some of us will likely get hurt. Do not panic. Stay organized. Even if casualties occur, we must work together to restrain Wang Yu first. The group nodded. Since Chen Yingma had issued such a serious warning and assembled such a large team, Wang Yu must be formidable. But one man, no matter how skilled, could never defeat a mob. 13 men had come today, all of them male. Several were powerfully built. Even if they traded blow for blow, if each landed one punch on Wang Yu, even if he were Ultraman, his power light would flash red, and he would meet his end. Those carrying forks and shields move in first. Wear him down. Got it. Solid plan, no flaws. The group quickly sorted out their battle plan. Just as they prepared to strike, a mocking voice echoed from the 5 o'clock direction. I was worried I'd kill the wrong person. I stuck around just to listen. Zhang Ming and the rest paled instantly. Could that voice be Wang Yu? You came here to kill me, so I trust you've accepted that you might die instead. As Wang Yu's chilling words fell, a rift tore open the black fog at the 5 o'clock position, and a crossbow bolt shot forth. Whistling through the air, it buried itself in one security guard's forehead. Ugh! He gasped in despair. He tilted his head and collapsed. At the sight of the corpse, an icy dread shot up the survivors' spines from the soles of their feet straight to the crowns of their heads. In the strictly regulated Taishiao realm, murder was rare and carried severe consequences. This was the first time any of them had witnessed a killing, and primal terror surged forth. Some froze stiff, others descended into panic. Wang Yu seized control of the scene from the very start. The crossbow bolt had not materialized out of thin air. It came from his newly obtained card reward, the Heavenly Crossbow. The Heavenly Crossbow was no ordinary handheld crossbow. It featured a magazine-like bolt chamber that could hold 10 bolts at once, with options for single shot or continuous fire. Single shots could be charged for devastating power. Continuous fire prioritized speed, firing all 10 bolts in a single second without pause. Once Wang Yu resolved to kill, he wasted no time. He aimed the heavenly crossbow at another man's head and squeezed the trigger. Thud! The man crumpled with a bolt in him. Wang Yu fired again, and again. In merely 3 seconds, 5 men lay dead. None of the others had ever witnessed such brutal violence. Even Chuningma, when convincing them to capture Wang Yu, had spun elaborate tales and hidden the true objective, fearing the mere mention of murder would shatter their courage. Wang Yu's 5 kills shattered the remaining men completely. Terror robbed them of the ability to scream. Some sank limply to the ground. Others scrambled desperately, attempting to climb the walls and flee. The group that had been fully confident they could overpower Wang Yu fell apart before the fight even properly began. Wang Yu's face remained impassive. After expending all 10 bolts from the heavenly crossbow, he spotted 2 survivors still standing and stepped between the bodies. He gave the crossbow a sharp flick. The bolt chamber ejected and generated a powerful suction force. The crossbow bolts embedded in the corpses twitched violently, then tore free from the heads one after another, flying back into the chamber. Items produced by the system were always extraordinary. The heavenly crossbow's technology far surpassed any ordinary crossbow available on the market. Even retrieving bolts abandoned manual labor in favor of this efficient, convenient one-click recovery function. This heavenly crossbow was nothing short of black technology. Wang Yu raised the crossbow and eliminated the last 2 men. They tumbled off the wall they had just scaled. Only Zhang Ming remained of all the intruders. He stood less than half a meter away from Wang Yu, perfectly positioned to launch a sudden attack. Yet he was paralyzed with fright. His mind ceased functioning entirely. Every cell in his body trembled with overwhelming fear. No one had warned him or the other men that Wang Yu killed without hesitation and possessed the terrifying strength to wipe out an entire squad. Before encountering Wang Yu, they had crafted grand plans. Charge together and subdue him no matter what. Once the fight erupted, however, it devolved into a one-sided slaughter at Wang Yu's hands. Wang Yu turned the heavenly crossbow toward Zhang Ming. The sight sent the man crashing to the ground. Trembling so violently, he lost control of his bladder. The dampness soaked the lawn and soil beneath him, filling the air with a sharp odor. Who sent you? Wang Yu's voice was cold and clear. Chun. Zhang Ming's teeth chattered. Manager Chun. A flicker of impatience crossed Wang Yu's face. The shock rattled Zhang Ming's soul, and he rushed to speak. Chuningma sent us. He lives in Villa B01, Zone B. Wang Yu frowned. Who was Chuningma? He had never heard the name before. Why did this man want him dead? Does he have a man working for him? Wang Yu described Gao Yuan's appearance. As the property manager, Zhang Ming knew Gao Yuan, who always accompanied Chuningma. The person you're describing must be his bodyguard. So that settled it. Gao Yuan, along with Zhang Ming's group, had all been dispatched by Chuningma to kill him. I see, Wang Yu said. Do you know why Chuningma wants to capture me? Zhang Ming recounted the promise Chuningma had made to them the previous night, something related to an estate. But he had no specific details about the estate, nor could he explain Chuningma's grudge against Wang Yu. The information was effectively useless. It seemed Wang Yu would need to question Chuningma directly to uncover the root of their conflict. If that was the case, Zhang Ming's life held no further value. I've told you everything I know. Zhang Ming noticed the shift in Wang Yu's gaze and shook uncontrollably. Spare me, please. You've been easy to track down, Wang Yu said faintly, pulling the trigger of the heavenly crossbow. A bolt whistled free, piercing Zhang Ming's eye. Thud! Zhang Ming collapsed onto the lawn, resentment etched on his features, and fell silent. He had come to kill Wang Yu, so Wang Yu saw his execution as justified. Some might argue Wang Yu ought to spare him, given how cooperative he had been. If anyone held that opinion, they could blame Wang Yu. If our paths cross again someday, I'll raise a glass to you, provided you show up, Wang Yu thought silently. Wang Yu recalled his bolts and lowered the heavenly crossbow. He sat down atop Zhang Ming's body and stared at the surrounding corpses, engulfed by silent black fog. Though accustomed to violence, killing so many people stirred mild physical discomfort in him. He lit a cigarette to steady himself. Exhaling smoke, he felt grateful he had drawn the heavenly crossbow from the card draw today. Zhang Ming's crew differed greatly from Chun Dabiao's gang. They were organized, prepared, and their strength did not rely solely on their leader. They fought as a united collective. If Wang Yu had attempted his old tactic, taking out Zhang Ming first to scare the rest, it would never have worked. In all likelihood, killing Zhang Ming would have prompted the other 12 to swarm him and beat him into submission. That was the harsh reality. Unless the power gap was as vast as an adult against a child, The smaller group held the disadvantage. Being outnumbered made that disadvantage even greater. Fictional heroes like Ip Man, who could fight hundreds single-handedly, existed only in movies. They defied real-world logic and could not be used as a point of comparison. Wang Yu was merely an ordinary human, not a god. Facing a fair one-against-many scenario, he would inevitably be at a disadvantage. That was why he counted himself fortunate to draw the heavenly crossbow today. Armed with this nearly unbeatable weapon, he erased the numerical advantage held by Zhang Ming's men and cut them down effortlessly from the start. It was immensely powerful. Wang Yu finished his cigarette and returned to the villa. Upon entering, he heard Su Wan complaining. "This black fog is so annoying. We're in the same house, yet we can barely find each other." Wang Yu walked toward the sound. Su Wan had changed into a t-shirt and jeans, an outfit that accentuated her graceful figure. Few ensembles could match its quiet appeal. Truthfully, any clothing looked striking on a beautiful woman. "Where have you been?" Su Wan's face lit up when she saw him and hurried forward. As she drew near, she caught the sharp scent of blood clinging to his body. She could also feel the intense hostility radiating from deep within him, priming her instincts for danger. She halted abruptly, her smile stiffening. "I stepped outside for a cigarette," Wang Yu said, walking to the refrigerator to grab an icy bottle of water. Su Wan felt suspicious. How could smoking a single cigarette leave him reeking of blood and emanating such a threatening aura? She told herself there were many bodies outside, and the odor must have clung to him. She had only gone upstairs to change clothes for a short time. Wang Yu could not possibly have slipped out to kill someone in that window. Besides, the stench on him was far too strong. Su Wan had seen Wang Yu take lives before, yet never had he carried such a heavy scent of slaughter. If she learned that during the brief time she was changing clothes, he had killed more than a dozen people, she would be utterly terrified. "You used to smoke anywhere without a care for others," Su Wan teased. "Have I softened your heart? So you head outside to smoke now to be considerate?" "Not at all," Wang Yu replied. He drank half the bottle of water and lit another cigarette right in front of her. Su Wan fell silent, exasperated. She could not believe how blunt he could be. "I'm heading out again. Lock the door and stay safe inside," Wang Yu said, clutching the water bottle. As he passed Su Wan, he playfully exhaled a cloud of smoke toward her face. "I'm coming with you." She waved the smoke away. "Stay here." Wang Yu lightly tapped her shoulder. "You'll be safer indoors." "Ah." Su Wan let out a soft cry. When she turned around, Wang Yu had already vanished into the black fog. "Come back to me. If you don't, I'll never forgive you," Su Wan shouted after him. Once he disappeared, a terrible unease washed over her. She felt anxious, unsafe even within the four walls of the villa. Wang Yu proceeded cautiously on his way. He sent out his surveillance drone first to scout for threats before heading toward Zone B. The cheapest villa in Zone B cost 50 million. The divide between residents of Zone B and Zone C was enormous, and even security staff received vastly different pay. Security guards in Zone B earned upwards of 15,000 monthly. Wang Yu worked full shifts as a gate sentry every single day and only made 8,000. Villa B01, where Chuning Mo resided, was the most expensive property in Zone B, valued at over 100 million. Its boundary was barely a wall at all, merely hollow decorative fencing built in pastoral style, capable of stopping only those who intended to abide by the rules. Wang Yu approached, pried apart the wooden slats of the fence, pushed open the waist-high wooden gate, and stepped into the courtyard. A sudden scream echoed from inside the villa. Wang Yu jumped slightly. "I haven't even made a move yet. Why is she screaming already?" Something felt off. To be safe, he sent the drone flying into the building. The scream came from Chun Manyu. She had been in the living room with Chun Ingma when swarms of maggots suddenly devoured the custom front door. Chun Ingma had spent hundreds of thousands on. Moments later, the ragged, monstrous wanderer that Zhang Ming's group had feared burst inside. At the sight of the insect horde, Chun Manyu's face drained of all color. "Ah!" She collapsed to the floor screaming, overcome with terror. Beside her, Chun Ingma felt as if he had fallen into an icy abyss. The expensive door, built with premium materials and custom craftsmanship, would have taken multiple strong men wielding sledgehammers a long time to break down. Yet the wanderer's insect swarm breached it in less than a minute. Chun Ingma now understood why Zhang Ming's group had been terrified merely hearing about the wanderer. Its horror was palpable even secondhand. "Manyu, run!" Chun Ingma stared at the wanderer covered in flies, its gaunt face framed by matted hair, lifeless and deeply unsettling. "I'll hold it off." He fought back his own fear and urged her to flee. When he received no response, he turned and saw her frozen rigid, unable to stand, let alone run. He had planned to sacrifice himself to protect his sister, but that was no longer possible. He had no choice but to save himself. He reached that decision in an instant and sprinted toward the stairs. The Wanderer, however, seemed to recognize Chun Man-yu posed no threat. It ignored her entirely and directed its attack at Chen-Ma. A column of writhing maggots surged from the Wanderer's hand, a revolting sight. Chen-Ma heard the noise and glanced back. His eyes widened in shock. He tried to dodge, but the insect column struck him squarely in the mouth and burst open. Maggots spilled across his body and the floor, burrowing into his face, forcing their way into his mouth to gnaw at his tongue, gums, and teeth. Chen-Ma could not utter a sound. Maggots packed his mouth and throat completely. He dropped to his knees in agony, then collapsed to the ground, thrashing weakly. Suddenly, a calm voice echoed from the villa doorway. "I still have questions for him. It would be troublesome if you kill him." A crossbow bolt shot out of the black fog. It struck the Wanderer. Thud! It looked down at the bolt embedded in its right chest. Before it could lift its head to spot the attacker, a second bolt flew out of the fog without pause, followed by a third. Thud! Thud! One bolt hit its left chest, another its head. Wang Yu had fired only 3 shots, 2 to the torso, 1 to the skull. Few could survive such precise strikes. Crash! The Wanderer fell backwards stiffly onto the carpet. The maggots shared a symbiotic bond with it. When the creature died, the maggots withered away instantly. Wang Yu turned the black fog to his advantage. He remained hidden in shadow while his enemies stood exposed. He used the drone to lock onto targets before striking, combining sharp marksmanship with the heavenly crossbow's formidable power to eliminate foes with a preemptive strike. He had acted prudently, avoiding headshots that risked missing. Even this terrifying Wanderer never got the chance to counterattack. Wang Yu stepped out of the fog. Chen-Ma lay on the ground in agony, his eyelids eaten away by maggots, his features unrecognizable. The sight turned Wang Yu's stomach. Even an enemy would feel a twinge of pity seeing him in such a state. Chen-Ma caught sight of Wang Yu. His eyes shook with realization. Wang Yu's presence meant Zhang Ming's group was all dead. It was incomprehensible. 13 men had gone to capture Wang Yu, yet all had been slain by a single opponent, and Wang Yu appeared completely unharmed. The fact that he had wiped out 13 attackers was shocking enough. That he had done so without sustaining injury was unheard of. Is he really just a security guard? Chen-Ma thought. If the terrifying Wanderer could be killed by Wang Yu, then the deaths of Zhang Ming's crew were no longer surprising. Bitterness welled up inside Chen-Ma. He finally understood he had provoked someone far more dangerous than any monster. "Is this your phone?" Wang Yu spotted a mobile phone on the floor, picked it up, and pressed it into Chen-Ma's hand. "You are a wealthy man. You know what I want to ask, so I won't waste words. If you cannot speak, type your answers." Chen-Ma unlocked the phone with trembling fingers and typed frantically into the Notes app. "Xiao Xiong promised he would take me to his estate if I killed you. My sister knows nothing of our conflict. She is kind and inexperienced. Please do not harm her." Wang Yu understood everything now. If Xiao Xiong was the mastermind behind the assassination attempt, all the pieces fell into place. Chen-Ma was clearly a shrewd businessman. He subtly hoped Wang Yu would spare Chen Man-yu without stating it outright. If Wang Yu took her under his protection, he would naturally keep her safe, and Chen-Ma need not beg for mercy. Shortly after finishing the message, Chen-Ma's adrenaline faded, and his pupils dilated. Thud! The phone slipped from his grasp and clattered to the floor. Wang Yu retrieved the phone, used Chen-Ma's fingerprint to bypass the lock screen, then fired a bolt into Chen-Ma's head to ensure he was dead. He turned toward Chen Man-yu. She was a graceful woman with fair skin and a balanced, well-proportioned frame. Her brother had been dead for some time, yet she remained trapped in shock. She only snapped out of her daze when Wang Yu stepped in front of her. "Did you come to save us?" At the sight of the heavenly crossbow in Wang Yu's hands, she sensed he possessed great power. Instinctively, she moved toward him, seeking safety. "I'm sorry, but I cannot afford to leave loose ends," Wang Yu said firmly, raising the crossbow. A bolt struck Chen Man-yu's head, ending her life. Though she was a beautiful woman, she was still the sister of his enemy. Wang Yu could not afford to show mercy. Even if Chen-Ma had not been killed directly by Wang Yu, Chen Man-yu might later blame him for failing to intervene sooner and seek revenge. Wang Yu could not risk waking up one night to an unexpected attack. It would be foolish to spare her for fleeting temptation. Eliminating her now removed all future threats. As for other thoughts that crossed his mind, Wang Yu pushed them aside. He worried that if he let desire cloud his judgment, he would hesitate to kill her afterward. This errand went far smoother than I expected. The water I brought is still cold, and I've resolved everything. Wang Yu finished the icy water and tossed the bottle aside. Clink! The bottle hit the ground. He left the villa and headed toward Zone C. As he walked past villas C60 through C88, he heard a familiar voice. We don't have a designated leader here. We simply support one another to get through this crisis. Curious, Wang Yu walked closer. He saw 3 men and 2 women, most of whom he recognized either by face or reputation. The speaker was Zhang Hao, a property steward who had been active in the neighborhood group chat. Facing him stood Jiang Qing. 2 other property staff stood beside Zhang Hao. Next to Jiang Qing was a woman with a ponytail, delicate features, and a sweet face. Wang Yu knew her, Zhang Luyao, a short video influencer with 6.73 million followers who resided at Villa C85. Jiang Qing spotted Wang Yu emerging from the black fog first. Her eyes widened. She recognized him as the man who had killed Chen Dabiao, and an urge to flee surged through her. But when she saw the dark crossbow in his grasp, fear rooted her to the spot. She dared not move, terrified of being shot as an example.